Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Three teams sit at the top of the table on 10 points, one of them Delhi Capitals, but their opponents today, the Royals, are only 4 points adrift in, would you believe, second bottom. Royals broke their losing streak against the Sunrisers. Delhi came unstuck against Mumbai Indians, but who doesn't? We've reached the halfway stage. Who's going to come on strong in the IPL Part 2? Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn and good twilight, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and I'm joined today by men of great wisdom. Hopefully there's the wise old bear.
I'm here.
That's the wise old bear. The wise old Nestlers.
Hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye. And getting it
song.
particularly quietly, it's the wise old Andy. Are you there, Andy?
I am. Are we on?
We are. We're live. Would you believe it?
Okay.
You're straight into action.
Straight into action.
Straight into action. It's all go here on Guerrilla Cricket. I have news on toss and teams. The toss was won by Delhi Capitals, and they decided to bat, which is apparently what Steve Smith, the captain of the Royals, would also have done. There is only one change to the Delhi team, which is Tushar Deshpande comes in for Harshal Patel. So their team reads like this: Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan, Ajinkya Rahane, Shreyas Iyer, Marcus Stoinis, Alex Carey still in for the injured Rishabh Pant, Axar Patel, Ravi Ashwin, Tushar, as we just mentioned, Gigo Rabada, and Anrik Nortje, I should say. The Royals line up with no changes, which means potentially, again, we have Ben Stokes and Joss Buttler at the top of the order, Steve Smith, Sanju Samson, Robin Uthappa, Prayan Parag, Rahul Tawesha, Jofra Archer, Shreyas Gopal, Jaidav Unadkat, and Kartik Tyagi. What do you make of this one today, Andy? There is only a gap of 4 points between the two teams, so Rajasthan, with a good performance here, could close that gap significantly. What's been wrong with them, Rajasthan? They've finally got a win under their belts after 4 defeats on the trot. It's something to do with their batting, isn't it? Their big names have not been firing.
No, Smith and Sampson scored a bunch of runs in 2 games in Sharjah at the start of the tournament. Haven't scored many since they left there, and they're still trying to jig their order around. It still seems a bit strange to me that they want to put Tapper in 5 and Stokes to open. That's an odd one. But really, they just haven't got off to a start, particularly chasing in the last few games. Butler's only got 1 score and they lost that game anyway.
Yeah.
Smith and Sampson have been getting out early, and they've just been playing catch up in most of their games. And the last game they did catch up with Parag and Tuatia, turned that game around for them. But at the moment they're having to try and pull games out to the fire rather than really dominate them from the start.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, we talk about them having 6 points. They've won 3 games, but 2 of those games it has been Rahul Tuatia who has taken them to victory from a position of no hope, really.
Well, one of the games he put them in the position of no hope, and then then got them out of it. But I do see what you're saying.
Okay, well, the opening batsmen are out there for Delhi Capitals. We'll come to you in a minute, Andy, and see if anyone's joined us on Twitter. But the men out there about to take strike is Prithvi Shaw.
This young chap here's called Prithvi Shaw. When he steps up, the crowd want more. He made 500 when he was 14. No pressure there. I hope he's not peaked too early.
And opening the bowling,
of course,
pink, it's this man.
He will break your helmet, break your heart, hotter than lava, cooler than Bogart, in your face, at your stumps, on your toes, on your mum.
Jingle-tastic.
Absolutely, those 3 top jingles all in a row. So we have Prithvi Shaw lining up, and Shikhar Dhawan coming off a 50, his first of this year's tournament on Sunday. Although talk that he got a little bit bogged down at times. You can come off at the end of an innings and you've scored only 69 after opening. You sometimes think that perhaps you should have done a little bit more. Anyway, we're ready to play. It is going to be Jofra Archer with a ring of 4 on the offside and a slip. A square leg, mid-on, long leg, coming in to bowl to Shaw. And he bowled in first ball! He aimed a rather ambitious drive at that one. He got an inside edge, and that has taken out his stumps. And that says everything you need to know about Prithvi Shaw, everything I've been reading about him for the last few days. A man who's happy to play a few flashy shots and then get out. Well, today he's played 1 flashy shot, failed to connect, and has been bowled for a golden duck.
That was a cracking delivery by Jofra, wasn't it? And it's come in off the seam as well, and it's pretty quick. And you say it's an expansive drive, well outside his off stump. He's well away from his pad.
I'm not sure that was that much of a drive. If you see it at full speed, it's one of those shots where suddenly the ball's moved and you try to think, shit, it's not where I thought it was.
Well, yeah, there is a bit of that.
He thought it was going to be one to drive. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, he left a massive gap between bat and pad, which is why.
Yes, no, that's fair.
Edge.
But the ball did move inside it. He was playing down the line.
It's a good ball.
True, but
yeah,
if you got your pad across there and you get the inside edge, guess where it is? It's your fucking pad,
correct.
and you can't be
That is
out.
correct.
That's the whole point of the bloody action. You know. What I mean?
We're going to have to jingle up almost immediately because it's Ajinkya Rahane has come to the crease.
I've got to find him.
Oh well, that could take some time. Well, he's taking his guard, so he's giving you an opportunity, Bear.
Yep.
Here we
Why
go.
is it? Bloody hell. No.
Who would have thought the number 3 would come in? It took you by surprise.
Yeah, no. It's
Well, no, he's
Bear.
not in. Oh, there he is. Fuck me.
Ajinkya Rahane, you're fat and everybody come.
Joffre's in, and that's what you do. That's what you
Yes,
do.
it
Although it
is,
was slightly
yeah.
shorter of length, it did come back into him, but he managed to jab down on it because he had bat and pad close together, and in fact, it may have come down onto the pad as it went out towards
he's
square
just,
leg.
I mean, he's just not moved his front foot there at all,
Yeah,
has he?
it's
I mean,
flat-footed. Yeah.
It's flat-footed. It is a flashy drive. It's okay. It's not a full get your foot to the ball drive, but it's not a defensive shot, is it?
No, I mean, you can see his middle stump and his off stump between the bat and the pad. I mean, that is, it's extraordinary.
There's no tightness in it. Anyway, this is going to go down the leg side. Is left alone. And he's going to be given as a wide. So the first run for Delhi Capitals. What a start! What a start!
Well, I've seen Archer bowl a lot in this tournament, and he's looked good every time I've seen him. I have
he's
to
been
say.
brilliant.
He's been brilliant.
brilliant.
Well, no, I see Rabada's way top of the list, isn't he? 17 wickets
Well,
or something.
Yeah.
I think so. I think if I'm making a subjective judgment, I would say Archer only second only to Rabada.
Yep. Well, that wicket took him into double figures, took him to his 10th wicket. Here he comes again into Rahane. Oh, and that one's, again, jags back from a good length, and all he can do really is fend it down into the ground. And Archer follows up and does the field.
Well,
there is no run.
2 points as well. This is the wicket they played on yesterday,
Yep.
which wasn't a great wicket, and at times you saw the odd one take a big puff out of the track. And I can imagine they're going to get slower and lower.
Yeah, well, I think that's why both, one did decide to bat, and one team said it would have batted because they know that it's going to get slower and lower.
You're speaking of lower, Hendo. You're sinking. It's early. And you're already
I'm thinking. I feel. I don't feel like I've moved at all. It must be my.
talk to your camera.
Must be my camera. Yes, I'll sort that out. We'll have some. We'll have some tweets in a few minutes, a couple of minutes after the end of this over. In runs Archer again, bowls, and all that really rises on Rahane.
Oh, please!
Wow, that's an outrageous decision by the ump. That is appalling. It's a fabulous
off.
delivery. As it passes Rahane, he could quite easily have got his bat on that.
He pulled his hand. He nearly took his glove, for crying out loud.
Nah, that's a ridiculous decision. It really is. If you can't bowl a ball like that in this competition without being penalised for it, then it's things have gone very
just
wrong.
don't bowl it
And it's
outside leg stump. Everyone knows the
Well,
rule.
it pitched,
Well, he didn't. He
pitched from
pitched-
middle and off, and it moved a little bit, but right up into his ribs, and then further down the leg side after he'd missed it. If he'd played the shot as it was, had the ability to play the shot, he would have got bat on it. This is up to mid-on and thrown in from there, as again no run is scored from that delivery. I mean, this was something I was talking about last week when I was on and getting quite.
I think it was all three of us, in fact, had the same conversation.
Well, this thing about Nestor's as well was getting quite involved in it. We were talking about this. They've got to make it. They don't want to make a decision. They want to decide now that if it's down leg side, they just give it as a wide. And I think that's a dereliction of duty. This is again rising into the ribs of Rahane, but he opens the face and tucks it away down to third man. They take a single. So with those two wides and that first run from the bat, Delhi Capitals have moved to 3 for 1. We have one ball remaining in what will be an 8-ball over to start.
Still a very good one. And the other thing about Joffre, not just the wickets, his economy rate is very good so far this IPL.
Yep.
Well, I've seen he's one of the players I've seen quite a lot of, and I've noticed that he hurries the batsman the most out of all the bowlers I've seen in this competition so far. Even your Ravel's and your Cummins.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he's definitely the quickest of all of them, or maintains that pace. When he wants to bowl one quickly, he really lets it go. And here he comes in to the left-handed Shikhar Dhawan for the first ball, and he has a little dab outside the off stump as it moves away from him. Through the keeper it goes. A great start from Archer, apart from the so-called wides. After 1 over, it is 3 for 1. Let's have some tweets. Let's see who's joined us.
Farong, evening all from Dakar. Golden Duck, an impressive start for RR. They need to return to winning ways. Nice to see the Almighty has joined us. I think he needs you, Hendo. It says, you do have constant sinking issues. Are you in England or the Maldives? Ravi Nair is with us. Hello, my lovelies. You think Archer's bling is gold-plated uranium? He sometimes seems nuclear-powered. Muttley Woof, lovely to hear you all again. Back in Delhi Capitals today. Snacks and limited booze at hand. Need to stay sober as I have D&D later tonight. Love and sausages. Jay is here. Andy in changed clothes shock. Is it wash day? Wash day yesterday. Brian Barris, good day and good morrow, cricket nerds. Be kind to each other. Well, we've already started And Jay also says there's no extraterrestrial menace in Nestle's background, so I can only assume he's lulling us into a false sense of security.
I couldn't work out where he was yesterday. It looked like a long passageway somewhere.
It was the
I don't know where to-
Nostromo from Alien.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool! I missed that.
Anyway, the second over is going to be bowled by Jaidev Unadkat. Left arm over the wicket, coming into Rahane, who reaches for that one, way outside off stump. Now, there might have been cause to call that one wide, although he may have just hit underneath it. Goes through to Butler, who dives away to his right to field. And there
Now
is
the-
a run.
The balance of Delhi's top order without Pant is quite interesting. For me, it's a bit samey with Dewan, Rahane and Iyer, all kind of more like anchor role players. If Shaw gets out, which he's done, you've got very similar kinds of players at 2, 3 and 4 here, and they struggled in the last game because they didn't post enough runs up top.
Unadkat in and tucked away into the onside, and very quickly the diminutive Rahane sees that there's a single there and hurries through quickly for it. He goes to 2, score to 4 for 1. Well, they've been kind of reliant on Marcus Stoinis late in the day, haven't they, really, to get them to quite decent totals. A
But
man who's...
the other problem is that it's the knock-on effect of some of these things. Pant was also the wicket keeper, so they had
Yes.
to bring Carey in to keep
Yeah.
wicket, which means they had to drop another of their overseas players.
And that was Hetmeyer, and that was the one they were thinking
Yes,
was
that's
just
the
beginning
one,
to find his feet a little
That's
bit.
how all the dominoes fall on each other sometimes.
Well, I mean, you're always in a difficult situation if you've got as captain or wicketkeeper one of the overseas players. That does put you in a more difficult situation. Outside the off stump, Shikhar Dhawan comes down the wicket, plays a rather floaty, airy shot at ball that just maybe nibbles away, and is taken by Butler.
I'll tell you who had looking good. He looked good yesterday. Was Kane Williamson.
Oh, he did look good, didn't
Oh
he?
man,
he
he
looked
looks a class
wonderful.
above, doesn't he?
He really does. And his placement, this is placement.
Well, this is it.
Brilliant.
He's just class. I mean, when he was batting with was it VJ? What's his name? Shankar. VJ Shankar, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, Shankar just looked like an amateur next to him. He couldn't fucking hit a thing, and he was just,
Yeah. He could have been you at the other end, Bear.
It could have been. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just classy.
So Unadkat just a couple of wickets in this tournament from his 5 matches that he's played. He's been around the block a little bit. He comes into Shikhar Dhawan. That's a decent enough ball. Tries to force off the back foot, but doesn't really have the width that he wants, and just pushes it back to the bowler. There is no run. 24 wickets in 2017 for Unadkat, and he's also got a hat-trick and 2 5-wicket hauls in the competition. But
Probably
not,
in that season. Yeah.
not really putting it together at the moment. Economy rate of 9.38.
That's variance for you. Maybe he's
Indeed,
more
indeed.
Maybe he's
Some
more
days, I mean, this is
comfortable
it. You just,
bowling in India than the UAE. That's just a supposition.
yeah, those are other things that have got to be taken into account. Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah, for both batsmen and bowlers. Yes. Unadkat again then, coming into Shikhar Dhawan, yet to get off the mark. And he's in. He goes across his crease and then whips this into the onside. There is no mid wicket. They're going to have to send the man from mid-on to field that, and they do, and they get back for a couple. So Shikhar Dhawan moves on to 2. He's off the mark. If you're just joining us, Prithvi Shaw went first ball, bowled by Archer, and so Delhi just having to maybe consolidate a little bit in these early overs.
Oh, well, I've got some news for you. If you
Go on then.
some inside track from Australia. The India Australia tour is going to go ahead.
Right.
Looks like the Melbourne Test isn't going to happen. From what
Right.
my brother, I was speaking to my brother. He's out there, and they're going to have crowds.
They're going to have crowds. They say that at the moment. That's a good shot from Shikhar Dhawan. He got right across and was in position so early for that short delivery that he put it away over mid-wicket with sumptuous ease. End of the second over, 10 for 1.
Leah, specialist drinks carrier. So I can't hear the jingle. Is it done?
Yes. I realise that as soon as sometimes you hear them and you start, and you stop.
I'm not today. Let's go the other way. Diana Patterson says, Hendo, you should put some books behind you on the screen. But that can be problematic in itself sometimes.
I don't think I've got room to put books on my. I mean, my laptop covers the whole of my lap and to my knees, so I don't think I'll be able to get books behind it. Anyway, here comes Archer to start a new over. Bowls to Rahane. It's another good ball, and that's the way to play a good ball. Defensively, with bat and pad close together, covering for any movement. There is no run.
Well, for a certain amount of time.
Well, yes, okay. You
Especially
can't
in
do
this
it.
form of the game.
But I mean, we know that the ball from the seamers doesn't really do much after a couple of overs, really. If there is going to be any movement, it's normally very early in each innings. So if you can see out, 3 or 4 balls. I mean, no one's saying see out 3 or 4 overs, but see out 3 or 4 balls. Archer in, onto the back foot he goes, tries to chop one that's too close to him, and he's beaten by that one. He goes through to Butler. There is no run. Have we been joined by have you got anything else up apart from Twitter, Andy? Have you managed to get various platforms?
I don't do Facebook, and that rules most of the others out.
Don't do Facebook.
Okay, well, I can give you some. We've got hello from Warren, and we've been
That's
joined.
Hot Mike, is it?
Yeah, Hot Mike. Oliver Sheldon's with us. He's this afternoon. Pavel's with us, and Francis Brett, along with L.
Is this our special Hot Mic day again? This is launched
All
towards
out.
mid-on, but not really got hold of very well by Rahane, and it becomes a simple catch for the man there. What a start this is for Rajasthan, because Delhi Capitals are 10 for 2.
Toe end.
Yeah, didn't get that at all, did he? And it was the simplest of catches. And
Hurried him
Archer
again,
has
I think.
struck again.
Hurried him again, and I know it's a sample size, but Rahane's wandering off with 2 off 8, and I don't think this is the right balance at the top of the order of Delhi. I know they've lost Pant.
I
Maybe
don't.
Carey up there as well.
I mean, I haven't seen much of Rahane in T20, but I don't reckon he's a T20 man, is he? At the top of the order,
plus Stoinis has batted top of the order in Big Bash. It might be worth a go there. I know what people are going to say is he's doing well where he is, so there is that. But
Well, I mean, I suppose, they were weakened to a certain extent because they lost Jason Roy. He pulled out of the tournament before we got going. That might have been one of their plans. And Shimron Hetmeyer, of course, we've covered that. We've covered that situation because Alex Carey has had to come in. Who else could you leave out of the overseas players? I mean, both Norkia and Rabada have been bowling extremely well. You can't leave them out, can you?
well, I don't know. You might be able to
Maybe you
leave
can.
Nortje out depending on conditions, but.
Should we
Well,
get the
they
new
seem to-
man a jingle?
Yes, indeed.
It's this man.
Diving away at the edge of the place, so tragic. Rolling in pain off the field again, it's tragic. And you're planning to
I dipped it especially for you to commentate the
It's
ball.
all right, don't worry. I'll let it go. I'll just say that he played it quite nicely. Actually. He drove it on the up, and one hand came off the bat, but it was a very nice shot. It was well stopped at backward point. But it's the first really well played shot, I think, against Archer so far today. Just a little bit tricky for them at the moment. Oh, that's really gone through. That's been given as a wide again on height, and I think that's a little bit unfair. I think it was one of those that got higher the further it went, and I think when it went past Shreyas Iyer, it wouldn't been counted as a wide. I think that's a poor decision, but there you go.
Well, I think the umpire's in a better position than we are.
Yes,
Front
I
on
know that, but
MTB.
we know that they're in a better position. Doesn't mean they're going to give better decisions.
Oh, I don't know. There was one I queried the other day.
Wrong.
There was one I queried the other day, and I said, because from the front on he didn't look that high, and he looks from the side, and it was miles over.
Archer bowls, good ball outside the off stump, which is just glided down to backward point, and there is no run. Let's have a look at this over. He's got up to 149. The wicket came with a ball that was 145. No, he's been up to 151, in fact, in this over, with one ball to go. And we're looking at the numbers, the number of deliveries over 140 Ks. Norkia tops that list with 119. Saini is up there. Archer is third on the list with Cummins and Bumrah in fourth and fifth positions. In comes Archer to bowl his final ball. Flicked into the onside, a little bit area. They will run through for a single. So just that and the wide off the over. So 2 in all. After 3 overs, Delhi Capitals are 12 for 2. More tweets.
Yeah, Jay says he should get dressed, inspired by me. Should he go with golden green, black or grey kurta pajama, llama wool, tweed or cotton waistcoat?
Oh, golden green. That sounds good to me.
Your decision might negligibly affect Tesco cashier's day. Brian's telling us about Australia. Victoria is taking it very seriously. Stringent lockdowns. Can't see them having sporting events there until next year. Whole Sheffield Shield has been played in Adelaide. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Leah says, yes, Hendo, put some books in the background. Go for a mix of occultism and books about cricket in the 1870s.
Well, funnily enough, that is pretty much what my bookshelves looks like.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Brian,
unfortunately, it's on the other side of the room, so I can't really bring it round behind me.
and Brian says, they've had 20 to 30,000 for the AFL finals.
Yeah.
And they're planning on having the grand final in front of a big crowd. So, yeah, they're having a go.
Start of a new over, change of bowling immediately. It is Kartik Tyagi comes into the attack. Have got a jingle for him, Bear?
Probably have. I'll just have to find it. That's all.
All right, we'll tell you what.
I got him. I got him. That's really quick.
Go on then.
You won't believe the things he's seen. He even wanted to meet the queen. All that etiquette went over his head. So he ended up playing cricket instead.
And he was just about to deliver, but obviously Shreyas Iyer was too busy listening to the jingle, lost concentration and asked him to stop as he was about to deliver. Now he has got the man at fine leg up inside the circle. Got a ring of 4 on the offside. I think he's got a man at deep square leg. That's certainly one of the men out. It's difficult to see whether he's got one parading around the perimeter on the offside as well. But I'll try to bring you up to date with that if I do get to see it. Tyagi now is ready to bowl, and that style of all legs and arms and leaning forward, it's played nicely, clipped really by Iyer up to mid-on, and they take a single.
Shall I say some hello to some people on Hot Mic?
You may indeed.
We're Chandan Rout, Dawood Tayab, Nishma Desai, Shubham Gautam, Sri Raghava and Numbadar Jai Singh. Alex Anthony is with us, Adil Malik, Abu Bakr, Vinod Kanigantal, Gaurav Shakio, and many more, and they're all watching with us. So hello to you all. We'll get some more of you in later.
We will indeed. Now, what's Jofra Archer seems to have some sort of bandaging on his left thumb. Don't know what that's all about. Tyagi bowls to Shikhar Dhawan, who swivels, gets hold of that really well. Poorly directed short ball, and it's gone away for the first one of these. So that'll get Shikhar Dhawan moving, hopefully, as far as the Delhi Capitals are concerned. He really did swivel on that nicely and play it really well.
On YouTube, someone, Titmus312, says, "Who are these weirdos?"
Yeah, who are these weirdos? What are these weirdos doing, bringing you IPL cricket in the middle of the day? It's a very strange thing.
Big Brain 61 just simply says, "Yo, back to you,
Yo!"
Big Brains.
Well, that's always nice to hear. Tyagi in again, bowls outside the off stump, nicely threaded through the offside and out to the man on the perimeter. They take a single. Jawan goes on to 13 from 7. Shreyas Iyer, who needs 74 today. If he was to score 74 or more, he will have reached 2,000 IPL runs. And when you consider that he's got an average of pretty close to 32, that's pretty darn good. Now, he was the man who took over, wasn't he, in midstream from Ajinkya Rahane, who was captain initially. Was that a year or two ago? I can't remember exactly. Tyagi in, bowls, and Iyer drops down underneath this one. Through the keeper it goes, and there is no run. 20 for 2 is the score.
I think the year before, yes.
It was the year before, yes.
He took over captain all of last year.
Yeah,
I was just having a look at the Delhi bench, and there's not a lot on there batting-wise. Daniel Sams has some form from Australia, but I don't think he's going to come in ahead of Hetmeyer. So, this is what you do when you build your squad. You want someone else who can kind of stick the gloves on if they have to. And a lot of other teams have that, but Delhi don't.
Yeah, I've seen even who was it? I'll come back to that. Tyagi comes in again. Final ball of his over, goes a little wide on the crease. Is slapped.
Good fielding
by the batsman. Brilliantly fielded by who else at backward point than the redhead himself. He's got a nice new haircut, hasn't he? Stokesy. He's done it. He's looking very streamlined.
I tell you what, if that was off to the side, it would look a bit more right wing, you know.
Okay, well, let's not go there.
I think he did it himself.
Maybe. And,
No, he's been in New Zealand, hasn't he? Everything's free. I mean, that was another thing. I saw. Did you see pictures from the Bledisloe Cup game in New Zealand? I mean, it was a full stadium, 40,000 people. Just makes you think, doesn't it? This is the first time I've seen Stokes since he went off halfway through the summer, isn't it?
Well, I think it's pretty much the first time most of us will have seen Stokes.
Has he-
Then. He's
is
got
this
the ball
his-
in his hand, though. He's got the ball in his hand, Bert.
Oh, my
Gives you a chance to
word.
do a jingle. Go jingle him.
Go jingle him. Now I've got to find him, of course. No one's where they're supposed to be in this bloody
Tell
thing.
you what,
There he is.
Bear, why don't... I'll give you a bit of advice.
I got up in Stokes,
Man, don't make me think.
and he calls me a oh, if I'd only seen.
That's enough of that.
The thing is, Bear, if you want to be really slick on the jingles, you've got the order there in front of you. You can work out who's coming in next, couldn't you? Or who's likely to bowl. And you could sort of...
Yeah, I could do, but it's just the names are unfamiliar, and we're not doing these games often enough, and there's so many different teams. You get used to where they are in the carts, and it's just not happened.
Stokes bowls his first ball. It's driven by Shikhar Dhawan with plenty of power, but not a great deal of timing. Straight towards mid-off, and there is no run. So Archer has taken a couple of wickets. From my point of view, I don't know about the same for you. I mean, I do like to see some of the England players involved in these games, and I do prefer the games where there are England players involved. I don't know whether that's just me being a little
Yeah, I
Englander.
mean,
I think
Sam Curran is now opening the batting and the bowling. To
I know,
it's like,
that was
true, it's
genius.
like being at school.
I
Isn't
know.
it? It's like being the best player at school.
That's exactly what we said yesterday.
And obviously Dhoni absolutely loves him.
He does, I think,
Stokes in bowls, crunched through the offside. He was given width there, and it was a little bit short, and it's been given the treatment by Shikhar Dhawan.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
It's a pretty low-key beginning for Stokes, wasn't it, when he came in on Sunday? I think he got 5, and he also only bowled the 1 over for 7. So the introduction wasn't too taxing upon him. That was a poor ball, it really was, and deserved the response it got from Shikhar Dhawan. He's in again, a little bit short. It's crafted into the offside. They will run through as Sampson comes across to his left of field. They'll take 1.
Might take him a little bit of a while to get up to speed, eh?
Absolutely. I mean, no one knows exactly what he's gone through in New Zealand. His dad's seriously ill. That can't be an easy position to be in out there. You're wondering what you're doing with your, in regards to your career. And I believe it was his dad was saying, go back and get out there, do your job. I think that finally encouraged him to come and take part in the IPL. Here he is again, bowling for the right-handed Iyer. He's in, he bowls, and this is flicked away off his pads. Through square leg, they'll take a single. So Shreyas Iyer moves on to 3 from 8. Shikhar Dhawan has 18 from 10.
I mean,
26 for 2.
Do we know exactly what's up with his dad?
Yeah, he's got brain cancer.
Oh right, okay. So is he terminal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously no one's pushing him for details. I don't think, which is, I suppose, the right thing.
That's a tricky sitch, isn't it? Really.
Well, it's an awful one, isn't it? Yeah, because you say someone's going to be there for some time, and you think, should I be there all the time? But I suppose you can't be really.
No. Parental child, no matter what, parental child-parent relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you live on the other side of the world, it just complicates things, doesn't it?
But 3 months.
Something's been given as a no ball.
Really? Oh,
It's going to be a free hit because presumably we've had it looked at by the third umpire. Ooh, this looks a very tight.
I thought you were supposed to give the benefit of the doubt to the bowler in that sitch. That's pretty
Who said
close.
that?
I thought that was kind of like, rather than over hours over looking at it, replay and replay. I thought it was it's got to be done reasonably quickly.
I thought there was supposed to be a siren that goes off, but if so, the siren seemed to be very much delayed. So here is the free hit. Stokes is in, offers it up, drives it up into the air. I'm not sure he's got enough length on that. Will be caught quite simply by Steve Smith inside the circle, but of course it won't matter. And they've run through for 1, presumably, or presumably nothing, in fact, because he was caught.
No, you still get 1.
Do you get 1 for that in the free
Yeah,
hit
you still
situation?
get 1. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, just hadn't gone up on the screen, so I was doubting
No,
myself
well, you get
there.
1 for the no ball. They won't get any runs for that. He's out.
Yeah, but it's a free hit.
Yeah, I know, but I thought the run didn't count.
No, it does count. It's gone up to
Oh,
him. He's
right,
gone to
okay.
19 from 11. Back to the right-hander. He gives himself an extreme amount of room outside the leg stump to stress iron, and then hoiks it horribly over mid-on. He's got 4, but there was nothing convincing about that at all.
Give it to me one time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3 times. Yeah. Give it to me 4 times.
Well,
He
at least
backed himself into that corner by only having 2 off 8. You know, he rather had to do something.
Stokes, and again, full but slower ball, which he turns away. Unadkat will come round and field from the 45. And that is the end of the 5th over. We've got 1 over of the power play to go. Delhi Capitals having chosen to bat are 33 for 2. Quite an expensive over that in the end from Stokes, costing him with the no ball 12 runs altogether.
Yeah.
Jay Grover
13.
agrees with you, Hendo. 1870s cricket and occultism is about 30 seconds. Shelves.
Yep, I think I can pretty much say that's what. You never know when you might need a spell or two.
Either way, a bowling spell or a wizarding spell. Got it all covered.
Exactly. Can always be useful.
Barong says this partnership needs to bat until the 14th, 15th over, but you can't think like that.
Chiagi starts a new over, bowls horribly down the leg side again. That surely is a wide. And the score moves on to 34 for 2. Yeah, I mean, it strikes me, Andy, when the way you look at the game is that you want to see someone hitting almost immediately, and that's the way you rate a player.
No, I'm fine with someone taking 10 off their first 10, but not 3.
Well, I'm just going. I don't know if you saw yesterday's game, but going back to that.
I only saw the highlights, yeah.
Okay, Tiagi goes very wide on the crease, bangs it into the pitch, just dropped down into the offside. Stokes hurries into field, but won't prevent the single. Sam Curran got put into that position of pressure in a sense by being asked to open, because he had come in a couple of times in the series and hit his first ball for 6. But it suddenly put a whole new sort of pressure on him. And the bowling was quite good in the first 2 or 3 overs, and he took the whole of the first 2 overs and didn't score many at all. But then he got up to 31 off 20 balls. So at what point do you say it's not enough? Do you see, if you can make up for it, surely it doesn't matter quite so much.
You're taking a risk. You're taking the risk like Rahane. I'll come on to it.
Again, width given by Tiagi, and it's slapped away through extra cover by Shikadawan, who looks in pretty good nick today. Goes to 23.
He's going to leave, hold on.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Well, you're taking a risk, because like Rahane today scored 2 or 3 off 9. That must be how he was thinking, but he incurred the risk that he might get out and end up costing his team. Faf played an innings in one of these games chasing, where he was 20 off 20, and maybe he was perfectly poised, because he'd done that before. I'll come back to it after this ball.
Tiagi in again, and movement around his crease from Shikadawan eventually ends up clipping it away. It's poorly misfielded at mid-wicket. It's going to probably cost them 2 runs, this. They'll get back for a 3rd, I think, when it should really have been no more than 1, if that. And Delhi Capitals move to 42 for 2. Yes, Andy.
Yes, so Faf was playing in one of these chases where he scored 22 off 20, as he's done before, and then accelerated, and then he got run out.
Yeah.
Which I mean, he might have been going perfectly to plan for him, but then something happens, and that is the risk that you take. And it's always a danger when it's in any form of cricket, when it's in your back of your mind, oh, I need to do this because the people behind me aren't very good. That's never going to help you. Always just bat and play your game.
Tiagi bowls. Shreyas Iyer, I don't know what sort of game he's playing today, but again he tries to give himself room outside the leg stump, horribly drags it into the onside. I'm sure he's trying to hit that through the offside, but something's going horribly wrong. The bat is twisting in his hand or something. He's going to get a single towards square leg. It is. I mean, but isn't it partly down to how a player judges himself in some respects? I mean, we've seen Curran is a very able hitter, and if he thought to himself, right, I've got to see off 3 or 4 balls here, just get an idea of, and they were bowling quite well. When he started to get anything a little bit loose, he was putting it away. This is clipped away in the air, but there's no one round the corner to take the catch, and it's gone away for 4 runs.
Well, you don't know. You don't know what people are thinking. I mean, as it happens, Darwin's carrying this in at the moment because he bowled quite poorly to him.
Yeah.
And he's got 30 or 14.
Yes. But I suspect that if he'd been facing the
Archer.
was it yesterday? The
Yes.
Sunrisers yesterday. He wouldn't have got so many. They've given him width outside the off stump. They've also dropped it outside the leg stump, where he's just been able to swivel and hit it away. He comes down the wicket and plays a flamboyant inside-out shot, which he's beaten by or fails to hit. It's through the keeper. It's the end of the power play. Delhi Capitals have made it to 47 for 2. More tweets.
Yeah, Jay's given us a few tweets. He says, Hendo, you don't leave your house, so as your attorney, I don't know about that, I recommend you read Foucault's Pendulum by Echo. I think you'd like it. Have you read that one?
I haven't, no. I know the book he refers to, but I haven't ever had a look at that one yet.
Similar, yes. And he also says, done and done with the sartorial advice. He's going to knock him dead with his cultural appropriation of Kashmir and Peru on the next beer run. That will throw them, I'm sure.
It will indeed. Looks like we're going to have another change of bowling. Ben Stokes bowled just the one, and the leg spinner Shreyas Gopal is to come into the attack.
Hey, Shreyas Gopal's in. Hey, Shreyas Gopal's on. Hey, Shreyas Gopal, bats and balls.
Took none for 23 against the Delhi Capitals. It was in 2 overs only in the match they played 5 days ago. He's in, bowls, Iyer goes back, punches through the mid-on area. Archer comes gliding into field, and they take the 148 for 2. Shreyas now into double figures. He has 11. Shikhar Dhawan is going along at 200 runs per 100 balls at the moment, 30 off 15. The run rate 7.78. There will be a change of commentator at the end of this over. We'll be inviting Nestle Boy in. I will be taking a little bit of a break because I'm absolutely exhausted already.
What about the rest
by
of us?
this incredible commentary stint. He's in, bowls to Shikhar Dhawan, who goes back, flicks it through mid-wicket. The bowler himself thinks about chasing after it, worried that they might consider coming back for a second, but they don't. And the score moves on to 49 for 2. So those 2 early wickets, but some poor bowling, especially to Shikhar Dhawan, has enabled Delhi Capitals to get their innings underway with a certain amount of momentum now. Gopal in, pulls that one down horribly, cut, and he's lucky to get away with that. Smith dives to his left to field at extra cover. Good piece of work from him, leading by example. Score remains 49 for 2. He's got away with one there as the bowler.
Again, that's Shreyas, and that really should have been runs off that one.
Yeah, he goes back to this one. He will find the gap, but it'll only be a single as it's picked up on the near to the boundary rope on the offside. 50 is up for Delhi, 50 for 2, and Shikhar Dhawan is down to face. So just 3 runs from the first 4 balls of this over. Of course, it's so easy for good figures to be ruined right at the end of an over. Swept nicely by Shikhar Dhawan, keeps it down more or less. See the man at deep backward square, and comes through for another single. 51 for 2. Shreyas Gopal, man who's got a best of 4 for 16. What was it? I wonder if I'll test your IPL knowledge. What was remarkable about Shreyas Gopal's best figures of 4 for 16 in this tournament? Throws it up, nicely stroked by Shreyas through the covers. They'll take another 1, and that is the end of the over.
I can only guess. Took a hat trick.
No, but in a hat trick in a way, I suppose. Well, I might as well tell you because I'm not going to be back for a little while. 3 of his victims were stumped. 3 stumped victims in the same match. It's pretty good going, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty
okay,
good.
I'll hand over to whoever's taking over now. Is it Andy or is it Bear?
It's me.
It's the Bear.
It's me.
And I shall be
and he's moving into the summarising chair, which he's been doing quite well from the Twitter chair as well, it has to be said. But now he's officially summarising.
Okay.
Nestlers is going to join us too. All right, Nestlers.
Why?
Where are you today? You're out of an Avengers movie. Isn't that the village where Thor is in?
And he's fat. Yeah.
Yeah, in Endgame.
No.
Jaws.
Yay!
There you go.
Oh, well done.
That's the orca.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's difficult to see. It's very small on my screen. It's tiny.
That's a good spot.
The three
So
yellow...
you're joining us from a famous film set, different one every day.
Well, yeah,
That's what I've been doing.
he's been doing it. It's quite good fun. I enjoy it. Right, Tuatia is into the attack. And his first ball, Shreyas Iyer goes on the back foot and punches it up to long off, and is just the single. Now I've got to find his jingle as well, haven't I? There he is. Dwan's 32 off 17, Shreyas Iyer's 14 off 17, and DC a 53 for 2. Not particularly quick start, eh?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Tuatia drags that one from well outside his off stump down to Archer again at long on, and it'll be a single.
Just having a look at the points table, and as Hendo said, even though these two teams are second and seventh, if Rajasthan should win, they would get up to within 2 points of Delhi, and it's quite congested. Sunrisers, Chennai, Rajasthan not out of this yet. Unfortunately, can't say the same of Kings 11, who are stinking the place out.
Just clipped into leg side to a mid wicket who's there, but they still go through for a single.
That's what I always tell you. Yes.
I know. Depends how hard you hit it, really. It's for the firm clip, isn't it, that goes straight to the man. I don't think you can get a single on that. He just patted it out there. But it's the result of a 2-point system, isn't it, this table? Keeps everyone in
it's
until right at the
been
end.
more strung out than this in the past. But it's T20. It's quite rare for someone to win more than 10 or 14 games just because of variance.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's more luck involved in it. Tuatia is coming around the wicket to Shikhar Dhawan, who cuts that. It's a bit wide of his off stump, out to point. They'll get a single still. He doesn't look 34. 2 balls left in the over. Stoinis is in next. Every time I've seen him, he's looked pretty good. Alex Carey. I quite like Alex Carey. Saw him get a big score against I think it was his highest ODI score. He hasn't played that many in the World Cup last year at the Oval. I think it was against India. And he certainly hits a long ball. He's a powerful lad. Shreyas Iyer clips that one from Tuatia. It's full outside his leg stump. He just clips it out wide of the mid wicket, and there will be a single. 1 ball left in the over.
ODIs, he's often his biggest scores have been these kind of rescue scores coming in 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. It's just different.
Yeah, true. But the same sort of thing. I mean, you still got to. It depends if you're chasing. You still got to hit big, haven't you? At some point, you've got to go.
Yeah, 10 singles off the last 11 balls.
Well, that's that's ODI tactics in a T20. Tuatia, last ball of the over, is heaved by Dhawan. Doesn't get enough of it, but gets away with that. It bounces just before. Who's that coming in there? I'll see who that is.
He went for it.
He did go for it. The man out deep mid wicket.
Easy single if he stood off it, but he took the risk to go and attack it.
Tried to catch it.
Quite easy to do.
Got beaten on the half volley. It went through him, and
because 4 times out of 5, even if you miss it, it comes up and hits you in the chest.
Yeah, that's true.
It's only 2.
Oh, it wasn't too far off it either,
go a
was
bit
it?
sideways as well. Should have been 5 more off the boundary.
Ooh. True. I suppose if it's going to go for 6, it's going to be 6. But we saw one in.
I'm being a bit flippant there.
You are. There was a game earlier in this tournament which I was watching, and a guy was too far in and didn't get round, and it went for 4, and it should have been an easy catch. But as you say, it swings and roundabouts and variance.
Yep. 61 for 2, and the game is fairly in the balance at the moment.
Yep. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's live. Yeah,
it's live. Okay. Last ball, the over. No, next ball of Gopal is bowling still. It's played up to long off for a single. He didn't really
a little bit of a lull stage, but I think Dhawan realised that, just tried to have a hit off that last ball, and was successful.
It kind of makes the over acceptable, doesn't it?
Yep.
9 off it suddenly. Gopal is into Dhawan. It's a googly, I think, and he cuts it out to deep backward point. There's a man out there, and it'll just be the 1. Partnership moves on to 53 or 38. It's pretty good, acceptable.
Yeah, I wonder if Dewan has either taken it on himself or been told that we've got Rahane and Aya now. You need to open up a bit.
Quite possibly. He's set as well. I mean, he can be quite destructive in his own right. He may not always get away with it, but clips into the leg side and there's no run.
No, he gets single.
Sorry, single. Being a bit vacant here. I was thinking about the run line, Andy. What do you reckon?
Well, I was just going to have a look at how the markets were setting up for this one. I will do that.
166.5 at.
Hard to say. You know, Stoinis is a bit of a wild card.
He is a bit. And there's always some wild card. That's the problem with this bloody thing.
Could be 25 over or 25 under.
Exactly. That's a good running. It's clipped out towards long on, but not much pace on the ball. In enough space that they could hair back for a second. Dewan retains a strike.
Pretty even in terms of who's winning. Delhi are slight favourites, and that's probably only because they're generally the better team.
Yeah. I've been fleeced in this IPL. I keep getting it wrong, mate.
You fleeced yourself.
I have indeed. It's clipped into the leg side by Shikhar Dhawan out towards deep backward square leg. I'll just walk through for the single. I always make money in test matches and lose it on fucking white ball cricket. And it's so irritating.
Well, do you think that's maybe because wickets come in bunches a bit more in test matches and you do like to get on that roll?
Exactly. It's a lot easier to predict. It's defended out to cover and there's no run. As you say, there's always a wild
single.
card.
You keep saying,
sorry, single. That's what I meant. You keep.
It's timeout. Timeout. We could all get ourselves back in order here.
Yes.
What's on Twitter there, Nestlers?
Jake Rover. Oh fuck! How did I miss that? Nestler's horror-themed backgrounds bring me joy. He says.
We got anything on anything else? We got some people on.
Players confused. The boat is called Orca in Jaws, Quint's boat. There was Orca Killer Whale, but it's not that. Jay says the bear is a fickle sign. He sees one Centauri and the Bradnam's Bradnam. I'm going to work that one out. And we've also been sent a jingle there that you need to see. Edgerton Sledge's Cricket Podcast has sent a jingle in. We want to know if it's if we're taking submissions for a Rahul Tewatia jingle. And they posted it to us.
I think we're always taking submissions, aren't we?
We're always taking submissions, exactly.
So it's on the Twitter feed.
Oh, on the Twitter feed, you have to email it to me. You can't be sending stuff on the Twitter feed.
On Cricket Tracker India, Nishama Desai is with us, and I'll have to translate that. RR will lose in today's match, and DC will not win. And in reply to that, Shivam Guttam says, well said. And Puradun Ruddin Karma says DC win. There's nobody on our Facebook feed.
Just attack those names with complete confidence.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong.
My brain starts going and my tongue does something else. Ganandeep Bhatia says hello, and Atik Halim says 786 on YouTube.
Okay, is that his PIN number or something?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not long enough for a PIN number. What I will say, I've backed a lot of teams chasing, and it doesn't seem to be happening.
That's not been working out. I know I've been on Twitter being very critical of the way some of the teams have chased, but there's got to be something going on. I was certainly reading something today suggesting it was a lot more difficult at the start of the innings batting second than first.
Why would that be?
I'm not quite sure, but that's what this thing was saying. Maybe the ball's just moving around a bit more, or not quite coming on. There also seems to be quite a difference between what's going on in Sharjah with the short boundaries and the other two venues.
Yes.
I mean, you do have some sympathy for teams like CSK who built their team, built their squad, believing they were going to play in Chennai and in India. And now they're out in the UAE and things are different.
What's the highest score, do we know, in this particular IPL tournament?
Well, there's been at least there was a game that was tied in T20.
Yeah,
both sides
one of
won
the earlier
T20.
games.
Yeah.
All right, Stokes is back into the attack. We've had the timeout is over. I have a certain amount of sympathy for that, but professional cricketers are professional cricketers, and you pick someone because he can hit the ball. It shouldn't be whether he can just hit it in Chennai.
Well, it's more about the bowling. I think they're going a bit more spin heavy.
Well, that's not bad in the UAE as well in its own right.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's clipped down to long leg off Stokes' first ball of his second over. It's a single. I mean, we've watched enough test matches out there. I know you don't know what test matches, but I mean, it's pretty spin friendly in the UAE.
Well, again, I saw some analysis that suggested teams aren't bowling enough spin. They could bowl some more.
Yeah.
I mean, spin has better economy in this tournament so far, but it's not taking as wickets as at the same rate.
No, and certainly later in the game, you almost feel like the batsmen, pitches have got quite slow and hard, and bits of puff coming off them and stuff. I think sort of 14, 15 overs, sometimes the batsmen actually prefer the spinners and take the chance. Oh my word, that's nearly a beamer from Stokes, probably a slower ball.
I think that's probably a no ball.
Yeah, it is going to be a no ball for height, obviously. I think it was a slightly slower ball. It seemed to dip a little bit as it got to him, but it was definitely chest high. Dhawan got inside it, played down to long leg, got himself a single. Shreyas Iyer will take strike.
Big no ball. It's almost on his chest.
Yeah. Let that one slip.
Well, as they took a single, they're allowed to change the field. So they're giving him some protection, as much protection as they can for this free hit.
Stokes in bowls and flapped at by Shreyas as a free hit. Oh God, he flapped it so
goes
hard.
further than you think, doesn't it?
It was a 4. It wasn't a 6, but crikey. He looked like he
no,
hit
it didn't look like it had gone anywhere.
Yeah, it looked like it had gone straight up in the air. It was going to get caught, but it's made it down behind the batsman's head for 4. 20 off 8 balls for Stokesy.
Yes, he's finding it a bit difficult. Right? It's helping Shreyas Iyer out. He's got up to 24 off 24.
Yeah. It's facing up now. Stokes' third ball of the over. It's just clipped out to mid-wicket. See? Oh, and that would have been an out! But Tawatia, and they still got a fucking run. Jesus. Now I'd be really pissed off. They had a mid-wicket. It was hit straight to him. They thought about a single, but it wasn't there. And the man at mid-wicket threw at the stumps. And if he'd got a direct hit, Dhawan would have been out by quite some way. It missed him, and there wasn't anyone backing up. They got through for the single anyway.
Well, it was a very tight mid-wicket. That was the thing. Oh, he's given up Dhawan, yeah.
Yeah, but that's where I think the mid-wicket should be. He should be really tight.
No, that's fair enough. I think that position could be used more. Especially for the quicker bowlers.
Yeah. Stokes in bowls and heaved at by Dhawan. He gets it down into the ground, out to deep mid-wicket, get himself a single.
Well, in other news on Twitter, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue has said if Trump wins again, he's going to leave for Greece.
Well, a lot of people say that kind of thing, don't they? A lot of people have promised us they would leave if Labour get elected.
I'm getting more and more hopeful that he can't win. But
yeah, but it's what he does. What's what he does when he
well, there's also that. That's true.
Basically, just say nuh-uh.
It's a fucking weird system, man. Shreyas Iyer is in bowls, and that's a good shot. Ramped.
Good, yeah.
He gets underneath that. I think he was thinking about putting it, but he ended up just ducking and sticking his bat up, ramped it over the top of Butler's head. Very fine down the third man. Obviously didn't have that much pace on it as he was able to get round. And they got back for 2 though.
I think that's the end of the over, and I think that might be all we see from Stokes with the ball today.
And in other shock news, Jay Grover tells us hairy middle-aged omnivore realises £5 bets not road to riches.
I presume that's me.
Yeah.
I always knew that, funnily enough. Driven at by Shreyas Iyer, square to point, and there's no run.
And now Warren's joined us on Twitter and not Hot Mic. The bear puffing on the wicket, surely not the first time.
Wow. No, funnily enough, Warren. No.
Did you ever bowl while smoking a roll-up?
No. Plenty of weed before I bowled, though.
Did that relax you?
Yeah, I used to find... Well, you can get in a zone when you're stoned. And when I first came back, I was obviously a big puffer back in the day. And, I spent the first few years just puffing my way around the Surrey league, you know.
Did you
Bowling.
appeal mildly?
No.
You go, hey, was that out?
You know, you get into it, and then 17 overs would zip by, and I just used to get put on one end and bowl away. Really get in
Hey,
the zone.
umpire man, come on.
Used to love it. Tawatia is going to
You just had
continue.
to go off for the munchies when everybody else had.
Well, no, tea was always heartily taken, but obviously it was, you know.
Quick, get to the buffet first. Bear's been smoking weed.
Depends where you go though. Some teas are shit. Tawatia is in, bowls around the wicket to Dewan, who can only cut it out to cover. And
I'll tell you what, this season I've been coming round to bring your own tea, £5 off the match fee.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't hardly any of it anyway.
Oh right, yeah, of course. I can imagine the amount of sausage rolls you must see.
Cream buns and things, yeah. Bees and everything.
Yeah, true.
Played
out to cover, no run.
vegan?
Oh, I am. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
No. In the team could say that. Oh, we've got a bloody vegan.
I don't know. They probably say all sorts of things, seeing as I'm camp.
That's a good shot by Dewan, inside out of Tawatia, and he's found a gap out at deep extra cover. There is a long off and there is a deep cover, but they're too far round. Can't get round to stop it. Gets it through for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, I was going to say earlier, is what I think around the 14th, 16th, it's that sort of period. If there's a spinner on, the batsmen are more happy taking risks against them then and just trying to heave it out of the ground. I find it easier than against the pace bowlers. That's clipped down to short fine leg. I presume they got through for a single. Yeah, they did.
How much is a match fee these days, Andy?
Well, it depends. We normally pay 15 in the over 50s, which sounds like a lot. We can get umpires, scorers, and a good ground to play on.
Now that's all right for that.
That's just pretty good. But it's cut to 10 this year because there was no tees.
And you still had an umpire and a scorer.
Still had umpire and scorers.
That's good, because those are the jobs that everyone fucking hates, man. Clipped out to long on. There's nothing worse than your 10 over stint out fucking umpiring, or someone going, "Who wants to score?" and everyone sort of ducks their head.
Oh yeah, lower league cricket. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Nightmare. And we were supposed to have umpires one year, and after time they never turned up. Tawatia is in to Shikhar Dhawan. It's a bit short outside his off stump, but he works it down to long on. Ben Stokes is down there, and it'll be 1 run, and that's his 50. Well batted, sir.
Yep.
Let's give him a little jingle for that. Don't get to play that often in this competition.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Well, I'd argue it's time for his partner to pull his finger out here. Darwan is set. They've got Stoinis and Carey to come. Ayers on 28 off 28, which is too many to be going at a runner ball. We've got to get on with it.
Yeah, true. Gopal is going to continue into his 3rd over. He's gone none for 12 off his 2. He's bowled pretty well. He's bowling it at Shikhar Dhawan. And the first ball is heaved. I think he's got enough on that. He has indeed. That's gone back into the stands. That is a good shot. He's opening his shoulders. Has been whacked. Gabar is back.
Well, I guess that's him. Is that a nickname?
I presume so. That must be a nickname.
Yeah. Good shot, slog sweep. He got in a good position. Nice wide base. Pick that up.
Yep. Nice length to hit though. That's a little bit shorter, and he tries to strong arm it down wide of long on, but it doesn't hit it hard enough or wide enough, and Archer can get round and cut it off. It'll just be the single. Ayer back on strike. 28 of 28. And Andy said you really want to be, I don't know, close to 40 after 28 balls.
Well, at least 35. If you're something like 35 of 28 in the supporting role, I think that's fine. But 20, run a ball of 28, not so much.
It's not for want of trying, I guess. Well, actually.
Yeah, so sometimes the harder you try, the more difficult it is.
Yeah, true. as that one is clipped out to deep mid wicket and there's no run. Maybe should be trying to take a chance on balls like that. A bit more coming down the track at the bowler.
Jay wants to know,
possibly.
Andy, if you've read The Music of Chance.
I don't
No.
think so. It rings a vague bell somewhere, but I don't think so.
Gopal. It's going to be a wide, surely, isn't it? Yep, it is indeed. Just fires that across Dhawan, and he lets it through to the keeper. But it's too wide, and it will be given as a wide. So the second attempt at the fourth ball is a reverse swept. I think it's pretty top edgy, and he's out. I thought it had gone over him for a minute there. I thought it was going to go for 6, but it was mishit. Sugar Dhawan, it's a pretty ugly reverse sweep from the ones I've seen recently. Got a bit underneath it, got a top edge, and it's floated up, and the man who's down at short third man, who becomes the man on the 45, was just able to take a few steps back and comfortably catch that. And
that's a shame. I think Dhawan was having to take more risks than maybe he felt he should have had to. He was getting more support from the other end.
Well, this is true. I mean, he's the only one who's really taking risks, isn't he? Anyway, he is out.
He's certainly done a good job.
Still pretty good innings, 57 off 33.
Good, yeah. Gives Stoinis 8 overs to bat, and I will say, much better mask of discipline than the Delhi fans and the Rajasthan fans, such as they are in the ground. But poor from the men in pink. A lot of masks under their chin there.
Mask etiquette is all wrong. Stoinis, another Australian with a really big pumped chest, and every time I've seen him, he's looked pretty good. Hits sixes. He's a strong lad, and this is almost tailor-made for him, really. As you say, only 8 overs plus 2 balls to go. He's in there, licensed to hit.
Yeah, that should give him, 25 balls, 25 odd balls to hit.
And I will find his jingle. Once again, I cannot find it. There it is. I'll give it to after this ball, as that's clipped out deep into the outfield at mid wicket. It'll just be a single. Let's have Stoinis' jingle.
All the side wants is a Marcus Stoinis. He's the solution, and all the side wants is a Marcus Stoinis. Yeah.
What looked weird about that shot with Sugar Dhawan, it's like he took his hands apart, so he had one hand right at the top of the bat, like he was really trying to.
Well, you do have to change your grip. Most people will change their grip on the reverse sweep, and maybe the bat's just slipped in his hand a little bit when he's done that.
Well, it was Gopal's
premeditated, and then he found it was quite a quick ball.
Yeah.
Which would have been outside his off stump if he'd been in a normal position. So maybe just lost the game of rock paper scissors there.
Well, there you go. 1 for 22 Gopal. The last ball of his third over, and Stoinis is facing up to his first ball. What's he going to do? Here comes Gopal, and he goes back and plays it down to long on. We'll retain the strike. That's a single. I'm just going to have to leave for a second.
I'll do some tweets while you're leaving.
Yep, please do.
Warren says his only experience of puffing before bowling, time slowed down on my first over, seemed to take an hour and a half. Merchant Engineers wonders what Io is doing.
Yes, I'm wondering that too. Yep.
Jacob Over says, I don't believe in the commentator's curse, but fuck off, Bear, that shit's not even funny. Bear appeals where blunted up drive-bys, white owl head nodding motherfucker that he is. Ravinair says, RR's bowling, Archer aside, looks as weak as the tea from a bag being used for the 5th time. Boron gives us
nice simile there, yeah.
Gives us some stats in relation to IPL scores this tournament. Stop talking about pies, pasties and sausage rolls, tandoori chicken, pastry roll is here, okay? Shop closed. Do people still smoke blunts, wonders Jay Grover? Will they be subsumed by purple drank? I've also been abusing night nurse years before lean were a thing, Sean.
Before it was cool, yeah.
Read the full tweet, thou muppet thou. Sometimes you can't read the full tweet, Jay, you don't have time.
Yeah, indeed. Tuatia bowls, and there's Hoyt by Stoinis down to long on zero for a while. If there'd been a man mid on up inside the circle, It was an easy catch, but it wasn't. So it was a single.
98 for 3 in the 13th. And how is that run line looking? Let's have a look.
This is about 160 something, isn't it? That's well outside of the off stump of Schraas, but he can't beat the Pigster, who's at cover.
168, yeah.
I'll be tempted to go below that. Yesterday was 164. And had a good finish.
They would need, 70 off 70.4. Maybe not that much batting to come.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's cut down behind square. 2 point, there's no run. I got it so wrong, in fact, yesterday that I was just about to put it on because Sammy Cowan had just hit a load of sixes, and I was just thinking, well, if he hits one more six, it will go up a little. And I wanted around about 166, and it was 166 and a half. And then he got out, and it's immediately dropped down to 154, and I still went under it, and they got 160 something. Well, outside the off stump, I leaves that, and it's through to keeper, and there's no run.
Yeah. He was looking for a wide there, didn't get it. Again, he's three dots he's had now. It's one of those innings where it just gets worse and worse. Of course, now he's sort of thinking, can't get out now. But
well, he's driven that. That's a better shot. It's over the top of extra cover, and there's no one down there. And it makes its way all the way to the boundary for one of these.
2 + 2 is a remember. 2 + 2 is a remember.
Nice shot there of all the Delhi Capital supporters. Perfect mask form.
That 4 puts that up to 168 and a half. I'm taking my chance.
You're going under.
I'm going under, yeah. And now Stoinis will go and hit, I don't know, 60 off 30 or something. Which will just do my head in. Outside off stump, he does a reverse sweep, which he doesn't get anything on, I don't think. But it's beaten Butler behind the stumps, and they'll get back for 2. Fortunately, it wasn't 4. Was it leg buys? I think it got something, didn't it? Or was it just buys? Oh, it's just giving us buys. The bowler's saying...
It might not have been given her anything. I'm not sure. Might have got 2 runs for that. 2 all the same.
Well, Sophie Cox, re-smoking and playing cricket, the infamous Dusty Fleming International Hairstylist 11, which included the likes of Arthur Smith, Bill Bailey, Alan Davis, Nick Hancock, and various other comedic reprobates, used to have an annual award for the best catch taken while smoking.
I do seem to remember something about that, yes.
And Leia says, disregard everything I said, I was wrong.
Generally, or just once?
I think about Quint's boat in Jaws. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there was a film called Orca, wasn't there?
It was terrible.
It was terrible, wasn't it? The mother orca lost a baby in a propeller or something at the beginning, and then chased him all around the Arctic for the rest of the winter. Defended as Tuatu starts another over. Is it Tuatu? It's not Tuatu, is it? It is Tuatu. No, that was the last over.
Yeah, he's got an under edge on that one. Or his glove.
Oh, it's glove, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, it's Gopal bowling, and he's cut out at the Pigster at point. Cover. There will be no run. I mean, Ayer's now 36 off 35. It's
I think Rajasthan will be happy with just picking up these dots. Stoinis is obviously could cut loose, but he's only just gone in.
Absolutely. Well, he's got enough of that, and he's hit it. Found a gap. That's good batting, and that's what Stoinis is capable of. He twisted his wrists and really had to work that wide enough of long on, but he did, and just enough pace on it to get it down to the boundary for 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
Really had to pull that round, didn't he? A lot of effort to get it that wide, but very successful.
But that's what we haven't seen from Ayer at all. He's been drilling shots straight to fielders.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem to have that touch where you're in control.
And he hasn't taken any risks either, really.
He tried to reverse in the last one, but hasn't done a lot. No.
Oh, that's a filthy delivery down the leg side. It's a wide, obviously.
Did quite well there, Butler.
Didn't come out. Yeah, no, Butler didn't come out very well. The bowler didn't come out very well. And
no, I thought Butler was so wide and so flat. I actually thought Butler did well to get a handle.
Do you? I still want my keeper to take that.
Pull off a stumping.
Stoinis goes back, gives himself some room, punches it up to long off, and there'll be a single.
Bloody bowlers blame us for everything.
That's right.
Well, I'm there to do my job, you're there to do your job. Your job is to stop the ball, mine's to bowl
Pick up
it.
my filthy wides.
Absolutely. So there's 5th in the list of runs for this tournament. Clipped out to deep mid wicket. They're going to think about 2. Well, it's wide long on really, but it picked up just outside the circle. And they'll end up not being able to get back for 2.
I think we're going to rotate after this one.
I believe so. I think you're moving into the commentary chair, and I think Hendo may be coming back to do something. Is that correct?
No, it's us 3 again.
It's us 3 again.
Swapping, yes.
Hendo, man.
The man who writes the rota.
Yeah.
Gets all the time off.
It's stressful for him. Jay Grover was recommending the film, not the book, The Music of Chance.
I'm still none the wiser, unfortunately.
No.
Me neither. Leia says, come on, Bear, there's no need to call him twatter all day, all the time. He's an all-time great, but he isn't that bad either.
What, Twatia?
Yeah.
I didn't call him Twatter, I've been calling him Twatia. Maybe that's just the way you hear it.
It's just that South London delivery.
Absolutely. Glottal stops, as Diana Patterson said.
Glottal stops.
Glottal stops, yeah. Delhi, 10 points currently.
14 games, 8 wins should get you through. I think that's normally a target. 7, you'll be looking at run rate. So Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi and RCB looking for 3 more from their remaining 7 games. But you'd say that everybody except Kings 11 is still in the shout.
They could go on a run. How many have they won? 2, haven't they?
Kings 11 only 1.
Well, 8.
They don't look like they're going to go on a run.
Well, they need to win the next 7.
Yeah, so at least 6. But CSK are dragging themselves back into it, bit by bit. Change of ball, I think it's Joffre again. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Adcat's left arm around, and that's punched out to deep cover by Stoinis and pick up a single. That's 113 for 3 with 6 overs to go.
Yeah.
And they should be looking at high 160s to 170s from here.
I guess that would be the game, wouldn't it? What, 10 and over gets the 173.
Normally what you're thinking from this kind of point, but we have seen explosions in the last 4 or 5 overs.
We've also seen horrible collapses, haven't we?
Yep, and Adcat's bowling wide from left arm round. That's chipped into the leg side by Eye. He's got so little on it. And, just jogged the 1. I would have liked to see a sprint go for 2 there, but everybody was happy with 1.
Yeah. Again, if your man there was a mid wicket, simple catch.
Stoinis 9 off 8. You would think he would be about to pull the trigger. He is going to be on strike.
Now, if he comes off, 180. If he doesn't, it could well end up on low 160s.
Steps away from that one, punches it to wide, long off. A bit more intent that time, but still only 1. Good bit of fielding. I think that was Archer.
In fact, who is to come in next?
Carey, I would think.
Oh yes, as I said earlier.
After that, they should have someone who can wave a bat around at least at 7. Let's have a look.
Yeah, no, I'll do that.
Axar and Ashwin can wave a bat around.
Yeah, I suppose they can go a run up.
It's not bad. We've seen worse number 7s.
Yeah, true.
Tournament, definitely. Shreyas finally opens his shoulders and actually hits it quite a long way. It's up into the 2nd tier. Well done to him.
Well done, well done.
Over mid wicket. Well, a few of them and all will be forgiven. Bit of a slot ball, just picked it up from outside off stump.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I was just thinking 366s. We've had 30 games.
Yep, quite a few of them in Sharjah, I think, even though it's only one of 3 venues. I'm sure it's had the most.
Shortest boundaries.
Yep, this one in Dubai. So what the Nadcat's going to do about this? Oh, he's back over the wicket, goes short, pulled by Aya to a wide-ish long on, Joffre Fields. And they do get back for 2. A little bit of a hurry. Butler completely misses it. someone's backing up.
Dan DiCastro on YouTube passes you a doobie and says, "Awesome as always, Gorillas."
Well, thank you very much. Always
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I'll virtually pass it on. Thank you anyway.
I've virtually got it here.
So 11 off this over so far, with 1 ball to go. And Shreyas again opens his shoulders. A very similar shot. It's not quite gone far enough. Stokes has punched it up and he may be okay there. The bear won't be happy with it. But did he step on the rope? He threw it way up in the air on the throw and then sort of... But no, I'll tell you what, if he's jumped up from behind the line and caught it, I don't think he's allowed to do that.
No, he's not.
I think
It's
you have to get back on the field before you jump up again. I think. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think you have to do that. Well, no, because no, Pretty Sure didn't actually catch that, did he? The other day? Oh no, it wasn't Poran, wasn't it?
Well,
I thought he actually. I thought his
first
feet.
of all, have a look. The soft signal is out. No, his takeoff is fine. He doesn't touch the rope with his takeoff. Then he grabs the ball.
Does he get rid of it though before he touches the ground?
Does he get rid of it before he touches the ground?
I don't think he.
No, that's very close. Possibly not. His toe just goes on the ground.
No, he's still got his hand
I
on the
think
ball
he's still
there.
got his hand on the ball there. I think that's 6.
I believe. I would tend to agree, but also I think he has to get back on the field before he takes the second jump.
From there?
No, I think he's still got the ball.
No, he's got his ball in his hand there. He's down. Yeah, it looked a bit funny when he threw it up in the air. I thought he'd already touched the ground.
It didn't quite look right to me. No. And I guess we'll never know whether you're actually allowed to do that. Take the second. I think you have to get back on the field before you take the second jump. But I'm not swearing to that. Yeah, I think that's going to be 6. Good effort from Stokes, but in the end he just had enough on the ball. Sort of backwards and forwards.
Nice pert arse we get to see.
Well, I couldn't help noticing. He almost looks like one of the superheroes in the film. Yep, it's going to be 6.
Let's give
so
it a
after
jingle.
all that, I think Shreyas is going to move on to that.
And here's the man who's going to scupper me today.
Possibly so. Well, it's amazing how 2 6s can turn an innings around. Now he's on 130 for a strike rate, and all is forgiven. He was able to do that before getting out. And if Stoinis can get going,
Yeah.
maybe they will scupper you, yes.
And then they'll get 200.
Well,
And they'll
right
be
now
firm
they're
favourites.
on 129 with 5 overs to go. It's an expensive over. I think that one went to 17 in the end. Having said that, Archer's got 2 overs left. And I'm sure he'll be employed, but not yet. It's going to be Tiagi who's bowled 2 overs for 22.
I'm not going to play his jingle.
And he's going to currently bowl to Stoinis. Stokes a bit annoyed with that, but I think it was a fair decision. And Stoinis clubs it into the leg side, should go up to long on for a single.
They need more than that, don't they? They need 10 and over from here.
Yeah, 10 is the minimum you'd be looking for from here, I think. We've seen 15 and even 18 from the last 5 overs, usually when Kings 11 will be bowling.
What, people going 18 and over, 5 overs solid?
Sure.
Jesus.
Or 4 at least. Yeah, we've seen a couple of 7. I think De Villiers did something like that the other day. Tiagi's coming from wide and it's clipped into the leg side by Stoinis. It's gone straight to the mid-wicket. I think there's no run.
There was no run, it was Shreyas facing.
Yeah.
Warren's wondering if Stokes has had butt cheek implants.
It kind of looks like it.
It looked like it, didn't it? Been working out a lot.
Because of Nicki Minaj on the boundary there.
Dear, don't. I don't understand.
Probably best not go into it, as the actor said to the bishop. Steps across, steps away, changes his mind. It's a good ball, actually, Yorker, and in the end, Shreyas just dabs it down to nowhere, but they do scurry through for a single.
Well, for a minute there, I thought it actually hit his boot, and I was wondering why they weren't appealing.
Yeah, obviously it didn't because it was straight in front of middle stump.
Yeah.
Leia says you can't juggle it beyond the rope by touching the ball only while jumping up.
Yeah, I think I see what she's saying. There was a case where this happened, and there's a lot of conjecture about it, and I think they've changed the laws, but I'm not sure.
You see, if you had it simply was the plane was the fucking boundary, as I said last time, then it'd been 6, wouldn't it?
Goes for the flip over the keeper, but doesn't get anywhere anything on it. Stoinis, and he's 11 off 12, I think 11 off 11, hasn't got going yet.
I'm kind of with Hendo on this, where if it breaks the sort of boundary, that it's a 6.
No, Hendo's not on that. That's
He's not on that.
my side of the argument. He's a
it's
batsman.
your side of the argument. Yeah. I'm kind of on that side of the argument myself.
Been through this already.
Yeah.
You see the baseball catch the other day, he was halfway in the stand.
Yeah, Fred
hurt himself. That's another good Yorker, but Stoinis digs it out towards long leg, pick up a single.
Now, if they can get this last ball down at 1, it kind of makes up for the last over almost.
Yeah, good over, only 3 off 5 balls. And it's carefully mixed in.
Oh, that did his boot first.
Did it flick his toe first?
Flicked his toe first. That should have been. They should have appealed for that.
Yeah, I guess they didn't see the little, because he then hit it onto it with his toe, bat, and then foot.
Yeah.
So obviously they just missed the first flip of the toe. It was certainly crashing into Midland leg. Steve Smith gets another review wrong. Way up in the air from Shreyas. This one really should be caught somewhere. Joffre's underneath it, takes the catch.
Ooh, I thought he was going to drop that.
He did get underneath it and had to take it behind his head a little bit. But he held on to it. That's a great over from Tiagi.
That is. Brings me right back into it. Woo!
Right back into it. 1-3-2 for 4. 4 overs left. And we had a Zoom curse from Hendo, who said if I got 74, you'd get 2,000 runs. We'll know what happened on the next ball. It's going to be a timeout. Do you catch us up on social media?
Yeah, I'll catch you up on Jay. He says, holy motherfucking arse wiping slut Jesus. The only DVD on Amazon is 40 quid. I used to have it on VHS. Sorry, Andy, I was going to buy you a copy, but that's 2 weeks' food budget, and I've already tapped my cent out on a Halloween decoration.
I'll see if I can find it on a stream. Thank you, Jay.
He also says, shock news just in. Ursine considers getting lit in public is virtual. Trump to win re-election due to stoner apathy. He also says, I spent the last week at my parents'. My mum, not a cricket fan, was deeply confused by her purportedly heterosexual son and husband's obsession with fast bowlers' arses. When I started to explain twerking, she left with a long-suffering sigh.
Not for the first time, I'm sure.
Now, I can't see the hot mic messages, Bear, for this happening.
Bear's disappeared to do what bears do in the woods.
Okay, no worries. I'll read out some names on Crick Tracker India.
Go for it, yep.
So we're joined by, Rahim Khan says RR win. Kamlesh Yadav says D. Udaya says D win. And Imran Kahandi says RR. They're all putting in their penneth.
Yep. All putting in their rupee worth.
Well,
but I think either way, it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be a middling sort of target, maybe upper middle if they can get going. And it should hopefully be an interesting chase.
I mean, yesterday they fell well short and ended up being 17 odd runs short of 165. I think they had to chase.
Yeah, the Sunrisers. The weird thing with Sunrisers is what Warner is doing. He's almost trying to bat like Kohli. He's trying to hit a lot of 1s and 2s and not as many boundaries for some reason. No one's quite sure why he's doing it. They've got Williamson to do that.
Yes, and as we said, he did bat quite well yesterday. So
it's going to be an Aussie pair of batsmen, and we've got at least one English bowler ready to get at them. Did you see Joffre asked Xbox, how many wickets do I have to take this IPL to get the next box? And they said 1, David Warner, and got him out in the next game.
Who did he ask?
Although-
Xbox, did you say?
Yes, sorry. I should get a free Xbox for saying that, really.
So I don't understand. Why?
I don't know why. He just tweeted Xbox and said, how many wickets do I have to take to get a free Xbox? I suppose if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly. And you're Jofra.
Here is Jofra, the man they're all talking about. Carey digs it out, goes back to the bowler for no run.
See, I'd be asking questions like, how many wickets do I have to take to be the top-ranked bowler in the IPL on Xbox next year? But I suppose you don't ask Xbox that. You ask whoever makes the game, EA Games or whoever.
Well, it's all good marketing, though, isn't it?
Yes, true.
Yeah, for the
They've
price of an
given
Xbox. I mean, it's not like he's asking for a Lamborghini.
No.
But you can also send me one for free.
Yeah, exactly. Tweet that to Lamborghini. How many wickets do I have to get?
Full toss from Archer. I think it's going to be short of the no ball. Carey has edged it down towards third man. Fielders round should pick up 2. We'll wait for the signal. I think he's just going to get away with that.
I thought that was probably a little bit high, but
Rare loose ball from Archer. Has got away with it. 134 for 4. Surely he should be fired up with 2 Aussies at the crease.
well, I was saying this yesterday. Do you think?
That comes in. It's a length ball and it's clipped up towards long on. That comes through for a single.
Do you think people with familiar languages, for example, bat better together? Feel more comfortable out there together?
Well, communication must be easier. I mean that's a given if you're both talking in your first language.
But yeah,
Even if it's just the chat you have at the end of the over.
Exactly. We need to go along at this and da 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 da.
Yeah. Whereas if 2 Aussies out in the middle, you can just chew loads of gum.
Exactly.
Spit it
Just did it,
out.
mate. Just did it. Yeah, right, mate.
She'll be right, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Field is dropping down straight for Stoinis. Let's see what he wants to do with Archer. Gold chains are jangling. It's full ball. He just digs it out up towards cover his round. Pick up a single. Again, a couple of good overs here for Royals. And they're pegging that score back.
That's what I was saying. It's hard at this point of the game. It's almost harder to hit the quickies than the spinners. Even though you'd think that the batsman will want pace on the ball, I think it's just harder. It just seems to be harder to get anything on it. Whereas at least with a spinner, you can just try and pick the line and heave the line.
Yep. Jofra comes in again. He's round the wicket and steps away.
Oh, wow.
Carey, that's a good shot. He might hit a flat 6
I think
over
it was.
backward point.
I think that is a genuine one of these.
Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air. Legs moving side to side. Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air.
Smaximum.
Yeah, Jofra's not happy, but well, it wasn't wide. Carey backed away. It was a bit short and good piece of batting because it was in the rib cage. It stayed where he was, but he just gave himself some room. And the ball flashed over backward point for 6.
Yeah, it's a good
Oh,
shot.
that one has hit him on the shoulder. He didn't really do anything. He'll probably claim evasive action and he'll pick up a leg by, but it pinged him on the shoulder. I think that one might hurt.
Bit of revenge from Jofra.
Yep.
End up not being.
It's the end of the over. 2 for 15 off Jofra's 3 overs, and there are 3 overs to go.
It's interesting they get into bowl the 17th and the 19th and not the 20th and the 18th.
Well, I think it's quite a standard thing to do. You have your best bowler bowling the 19th. I know it comes in more often when you bowl the 2nd, but it seems to be the default.
Barong says, bugger this rope controversy. Install 4-foot-high rubber barricades. Over the barricade is 6. On the full 4. Simple. He's being facetious. And
Well,
Big
that's how it
Ants,
used to be. You used to be able to lean on the fence and go backwards and catch it like that.
Big Ant Studios make the cricket games bear.
That's the
and
one.
Maxwell,
Yeah.
Maxwell did motion capturing for them.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
I remember hearing that.
But
yeah.
he was doing motion captioning, doing impersonations of his teammates. So he was batting like Steve Smith. They were motion capturing that. Right at the point of the elbow, that one for Carey.
Painful.
Pleasant. Back on strike to Tiagi. And that one goes out to cover. They must be taking a quick run, or no, I think Stoinis was sent back. and Smith had to go at the stumps in some all Aussie action. In the end, there is no run.
Oh, I've got 25 runs to play with in 3 overs.
17 balls, yeah. He would have been back in Stoynes. I'm sure Smith would have enjoyed running his fellow countryman out. Get the impression with the England players as Tiagi comes in. Clipped into the leg side by Carey. Straight to mid-wicket, I think they got through for a single
I
anyway.
imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, you get the impression with the England players when they get each other out, it's a bit like the football thing where you don't celebrate against your previous club. They don't go mad with the celebrations.
I think you should. I
Well,
think you
would
should give him a bit.
If you got your England captain out, if you got Morgan out, would you run up and give him the big one right in his face?
No, but you give him a little smirk, wouldn't you?
I think they do smirk at each other. I'm sure, but they don't do the full. Well, you're not really supposed to celebrate at the batsman anyway these days, which is not a bad thing.
Oh.
Well, you think you should be able to?
Nah.
It's a bit of I think it's a bit cowardly to go blur at the batsman when you just got him out. There's nothing more you can do in the game.
I mean, no, I don't. But I mean, I don't mean like that.
Stoynes stepped away and Tiagi bowled a full Yorker, which was well inside the tram line. Stoynes absolutely nowhere near it. Didn't even try to play a shot. Almost reminiscent of the time the mighty Glenn Maxwell was bowled middle stump to even ball like that.
I mean, there's only a couple of times I can think of where I've given batsmen send-offs. But generally, because they've been getting away with all sorts of fucking ugly hoiks everywhere. And they still got to, 50 and then like the top edges everywhere this way and just out of reach of some fielder out in the deep.
Frustration does come out somewhere. It's another excellent over from Tiagi, just 1 run from 3 balls. Here he comes again. And it's another full one which Stoynes clips out past square leg. There should be a man in the deep there. It's taking his time to get round. I'll pick up 2. But yes, I was going to say in the last over, a lot of Yorkers and back of the length from Tiagi. He hasn't put anything in the slot.
It's probably a wise thing.
Oh, that's what you've got to try to do. And Stoynes, surprisingly, 15 off 15. Hasn't been able to open his shoulders or anything.
I'll be trying. Did you see, who was it? Someone yesterday trod on their stumps.
And was caught off the same ball.
Yes.
Rashid Khan.
Yes, that's right. It was Rashid Khan.
Yeah, it's another very full ball, and Stoynes went back to try to get underneath it, but could only play it up to long on for a single. Good flat throw prevented the second.
Good bowling, good over.
So, was he down in... Presumably he was hit wicket, because hit wicket would come first.
Yeah, hit wicket came first. He was out hit wicket.
Yeah.
He was so deep in his crease though. I mean, literally he just knelt down and he knocked his stumps off. He was so deep in his crease.
You've occasionally seen players put their back foot behind the stumps on the leg side. It makes it very difficult not to just whack your stumps over with the bat.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he kind of got them back into the game yesterday. It was quite fun to watch him.
Almost. Well, he can do that, Rashid Khan. He can score 20 off 8. Tiagi coming in to complete his spell. It's another Yorker who's bowled extremely well these last 2 overs. He's bowled 2 overs for 8 towards the end of the innings, which is excellent. And Delhi are 148 for 4 with just 2 overs to get those 21 runs to scupper your bet.
Jake Rover bought a very expensive laptop because his old one was sounding like an asthmatic with syphilis. I got dead excited about its memory potential and thought I'd buy some games. I bought The Witcher 3 and my dyspraxic arse can't even get on the horse, let alone leave the village. I've drowned myself in the communal trough 3 times now, but I could not die. I uninstalled it and cried.
Oh, I hate that when a game's too difficult.
Yes, exactly. Although I
only ever played 1 computer game in my life.
No, I haven't.
I played 1. Wipeout.
I like Sonic the Hedgehog back in the day.
No. I mean, I used to have I've got a Sony PlayStation somewhere in here. I've got a Nintendo 64. I've got an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One.
Bloody hell.
Well, no, I went off games, obviously when I got married and then had kids and they were really young, but then they got to an age where they could have games and then I got back into it. And I played COD Ops, Call of Duty.
Archer round the wickets, another full toss, but Carey can't get hold of it. cloths it up to mid-off for just a single.
Me and my mate Matt used to get hideously stoned and play Wipeout, the original Wipeout game.
Yeah, we used to do that.
And I used to get blisters on my thumbs from doing that.
They have it. I'll tell you what, a mate of mine's got a PlayStation 4 and they have it on that virtual reality thing with the Oculus Rift or whatever. It's crazy on that. You actually get pits in your stomachs when you're going around a course and stuff. It's quite mad.
But we spend all day and we phone each other and I say, I've got the track record for some mad circuit that they dreamt up. And then he'd try and beat it, you know.
Every now and then your head disappears.
Absolutely. It gets replaced by the boat.
Look.
You got a boat for a head.
Jaws has got you. Hey, oh, you're back.
You're literally boat face.
Archer back over the wickets. It's another low full toss, which Stoinis can only bunt up to long off. He's very frustrated.
This looks like a tactic, doesn't it?
Good bowling. A lot of Yorkers. They're not getting hold of the low full tosses, which possibly because of the pace. You know, it's hard to get hold of 145k low full toss.
Yeah, but I mean, this clearly is a tactic, isn't it? I mean, there's virtually hardly been anything length or short, as you said, in the last over. Virtually none in this over.
Weren't they doing that yesterday?
No, it wasn't so much the full stuff yesterday. It was a different tactic yesterday.
Archer's back round. It's another full toss, and again, it can only push it down towards point. Diving stop will just be a single.
I thought Fred picked it up.
There were a lot of full tosses. They were shit full tosses though, and they kept getting spat. Although, what's his name? Got 3 bloody wickets off full tosses, didn't he?
Bravo, probably.
No, it wasn't Bravo. It was, I can't remember. But yeah, there were wide full tosses that should have been smashed out of the ground and kept going down long off's throat. It's quite
Got
funny.
News from Jay Grover: Bear kills zombies, apocalypse averted.
I'm good at that.
Flicked away by Stoinis, but he's picked the fielder out in the deep. A couple of bounces to him. Just another single. Archer's again bowled really well. 2 for 19 with just 2 balls to go. And he's bowled extremely well in this IPL.
He has indeed.
Hit a few quick runs as well.
Yeah, certainly has. He's hit a few sixes, hasn't he?
Just 2 balls to get out of this spell. That is pulled away by Carey, but only down to long leg. It's another single. 5 singles so far this over.
Keep this down to
this
not a
innings
4.
is just subsiding. 153 for 4, just 7 balls to go, but I'm not sure who's going to bowl the last over. I think it might be Unadkat. I wouldn't give it to Stokes.
No, I certainly wouldn't give it to Stokes.
Probably Unadkat. Tuwati is the other bowler with an over left, but again, probably won't be a spinner.
They're going to open with Stokes, aren't they? Stokes and Butler.
Yes, they did say they were going to do that. Stoinis has got hold of that one. It hasn't got enough on it. It's straight to the fielder. It's an easy catch, and his tortuous innings comes to an end. And 3 wickets for Archer. Great figures for him. 3 for 19.
I won't look back. Just by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Right back on his stumps there, Stoinis trying to get some room behind the ball. He just couldn't get all of it. It was too quick for him, and it lobbed out into the deep. The wicket, so great spell from Archer. 2 overs for 5 up the top, 2 overs for 14 at the death, and it's almost, if Rajasthan should score these runs without anyone getting 50, you can get a man of the match for a spell like that.
Well, 3 for 19 is pretty good figures in a T20 or 4 overs, isn't it?
It's excellent, yeah.
Now, DC, a slightly better position than I can't remember who batted. CSK batted first yesterday, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
And then in the last over, 6 and a 4 off the first 2 balls, and that was probably what put.
Jadeja scored some runs indeed.
Yeah, he was doing some nice little late dab cuts. But it was really the last over, because it looked like they were going to subside to a score that was kind of really within the realms of possibility. And an extra 10 runs off the first 2 balls of the last over really kind of kicked them on to a score that you suddenly thought, yeah, it could be tricky for.
Well, it's 153 with 1 over to go. Unadkat is going to bowl it. Only 24 runs off the last 4 overs, which has really been excellent bowling from the Royals. Archer and Tyagi bowling those 4 overs. Here comes Nadkat, cut by Carey, should be out towards the sweeper. Yep, sends him back, just get the 1. Axar's going to come on strike. Have you got a jingle for him?
I do indeed. Let me have a look. Let's go and find him. Here we are.
The stroke plays diverse, and as sweet as a slice of Battenberg. Extra, 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 because if you can't score runs, then it's the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin that will bring him some wickets. Oh, extra, extra, extra.
It's another attempted wide York. He's got underneath it. It's out into the deep, but it's split the 2 fielders. Archer is round. They should pick up 2. They almost thought about 3. Axar wanted it.
And he's probably thinking Carey's been out there for a while. He should take the strike.
No, I don't think you can turn down a run at this point. Besides, Carey's only on 14 off 12. It's not like he's pinging it everywhere.
No,
Archer's
but his eye will be more in, won't it?
Archer's gone into 2nd place on the wickets table, but he's a long way behind Rabada. He's on 17, Archer on 12. Nadkat's in again, steps across Axar and plays it into the leg side. He hasn't got hold of it. 2 bounces up to Stokes at the long on. Pick up a single.
His average though there was 6.76 or something.
His economy, yes, 6.5 is very good. Axar is actually one of the 3 bowlers with the best economy in the whole tournament. He's in the 5s up there with Rashid Khan and I think Washington Sundar. Most economical bowlers, all spinners of course. He's trying to score a few runs with the bat here towards the end of this innings. Carey's back on strike. It's another wide ball. It's up towards long off. It should be out. Archer takes the catch. He's everywhere today. And that's another torturous innings come to an end for Carey. Yep, slower ball across the seam, held it back a little bit, and Carey, just like Stoinis, the big Aussie boys, couldn't get going, 14 off 13. And again, talking at the start of the innings about how Pant couldn't play, so Carey had to keep wickets, so Hetmeyer couldn't play. I think they would have much preferred Hetmeyer in that situation.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, here's a man I haven't played a jingle for a pretty long time.
Ooh, Ashvin v Butler in the next innings.
Faced up against the spin.
Be brilliant if Ashwin mancans Butler again. Low full toss, over extra cover. It's a good shot from Axar. Joffre can't get there, and that's 4 much needed runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I'm safe unless there's a no ball.
Unless there's a no ball.
Famous last words, eh?
Famous last words indeed.
No, my bloody
went
nut.
for the wide Yorker, too full, and Axar was able to put it past cover. For all Smith's pointing, either Joffre was in the wrong place or Smith was just being a bit hopeful.
Now we need to see what the bookies say, but I'd say DC going to win this.
They may still be favourites. Unad Kat comes into bowl. The last ball, it's up in the air from Axar. It's lobbed up to short third man. It'll be an easy catch. So 161 for 7 is their final total. Let's indeed have a look.
I shall give you the scorecard, Andy.
Have a look at for me. Yes, certainly, if you'd like to.
We had pretty sure Dewan opened. Pretty sure was bowled first ball by Archer. It was a good delivery, nip back, and massive gap. You could see his leg stump and his off stump, and he got bowled. Shikhar Dhawan batted well, 57 off 33. Rahane, 2 off 9. Stodgy, and eventually got caught by a tapper, bowled Archer. Second, that was his first wicket, wasn't? No, it was his second wicket. Iyer was caught Archer bowled Tyagi for 53 of 43 balls, and he was stodgy for a long time, and then he hit a couple of sixes and then got out. Stoinis caught Tawatia, bowled Archer, 18 off 19. Again, got bogged down. It's not easier to hit the pace bowlers at the end here. And they bowled well as well. Alex Carey was caught Archer, bowled Una Cat for 14. Axar Patel was out of the last ball there, 7 off 4. Caught Tyagi, bowled Una Cat, and Ashwin was not out, hadn't faced the ball. Bowling figures Archer, cream of the crop, 4 overs, no maidens, 3 for 19, really good well bowled. Una Cat bowled well, 3 overs, 2 for 32. Tyagi, 4 overs, 1 for 30. Ben Stokes was probably the poorest of the bowlers, 2 overs, none for 24, but then, he has played a lot of cricket. Gopal, 1 for 31 off 4 overs, and Tawatia, 3 overs, and none for 23.
Want me to round up the tweets?
Round up the tweets, and then we're going to go back to the interview that we had yesterday.
Bookies have this as an even game.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I might put money on DC.
Space Pirate Badger, Deorbited, says, an N64, now you're talking my language, have one in a box which periodically comes out for a bit of GoldenEye.
A GoldenEye, that was a classic, man.
That was it. He had to tune out, don't know if I already mentioned, but June 11th, 1970, the Pirates Doc Ellis threw a no-hitter despite being high as a kite on LSD.
I was reading about that, yeah, amazing.
Got in the zone, man.
Knuckle says, though, that Ellis thought he had a game off, hence taking the acid, but
yes,
then
mid-trip,
he and his friend read in the paper that he was playing that evening. that would be a real, oh, fuck.
Now, once, I remember we had some mushrooms, and we went up to Brockwell Park, this was about 20 years ago, and we had found a flat basketball up there. Now, I don't play basketball, but I was just in that, I got in that zone, I hit about 6 baskets in a free throw line in a row. And then lost it completely and couldn't hit the fucking board. But that's drugs for you.
Barong wonders who used to use the electric static clicker to gain free credits on Space Invaders many moons ago. J-Light SimCity in the first Civilizations, but the more advanced the games became, the more my retarded micromanagement was exposed.
Well, yeah.
And the last tweet, and it's from Jay, talking of dull idiocy, I downloaded A Song of Ice and Fire yesterday. I hope it gets better because at the moment it's my lean substitute. Considering I gave up on season 3 because of verbose muffetry, I only have myself to blame.
Indeed. Don't know what you're talking
there
about.
You go.
Right, okay. We shall be back. We're going back to Albert Trott, Steve Neal's interview with Tony Abbott. And
it takes about 2 minutes, this changeover.
Is that via a psychic?
Well, obviously, no.
You sort of implied you were interviewing Albert Trott.
Well, okay. Steve Neal wrote a book about Albert Trott, and he's talking to Tony. And there's about 12 minutes left, which should get us through the break. 18 minutes left, so that'll get us through the break today. We can think of something for next week. But until we see you the other side, enjoy.
I mean, I think I'd listed both them. George Best, I'd even stepped outside of the world of cricket, you know. The phrase flawed genius comes to mind. Yeah. So it sounds like you kind of feel that he would entertain, but even today not realise his full potential because there was an inherent tendency to go off the rails a bit. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, there's kind of elements of luck. I mean, if you look at someone like Both, I mean, in terms of the kind of lifestyle in the 70s and 80s. But now he's kind of serene, Both, and he's very much an establishment figure.
Yeah, no.
I think the other interesting parallel with Botham is actually the bowling. If you think of some of Botham's bowling, where he kind of conned the batsman out.
Yeah.
You think that fella
the ability to take wickets with rubbish balls, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
occasionally.
Same thing, yeah. I mean, similar with Trott, I think, in that kind of way. So the similarities there. But nowadays, there's kind of more opportunities outside the game in the world. So, yeah, I mean, commentating, media, that kind of thing, books, agents, all that sort of stuff. A decent player can make a good living from it.
I think it was again Plum Warner who described him rather unkindly as none too bright. I think perhaps that was a little harsh, given everything that we've said about him, and probably Plum's background might have encouraged him to said that about a few people.
Yeah.
But do you think that's unkind and unfair from what you know of Albert?
He certainly wasn't educated, but he's kind of. as a person, it was what he was like as a player. I mean, that was, that's the kind of important thing, what he was like on the field. I mean, when we watch sport, we kind of watch it for the unexpected, what's going to happen. We kind of construct our own narrative and things. But we want to be surprised. And like, whenever Trot comes out, we want to see what happens. I mean, that's the kind of important thing. I mean, intelligence, perhaps, that doesn't matter so much, in kind of the formal sense. I mean, you think of someone like Andrew Simons.
Yes.
I mean, you can point to a certain amount of parallels there, in disappearing to go off on a bender to, playing very aggressively.
Flintoff. There's a few names that you could suddenly put into that category from certainly from cricket and from a number of sports. But whilst he was obviously here, off he went to play for England in South Africa. So he'd qualified for residency here, even obviously being Australian, as you pointed out. How did he go on those tours? And obviously, strangely, they weren't tests at the time, but retrospectively became tests. Hence, he's got a test record for both Australia and England. Tell us a little bit about how he came to go to South Africa and how they came to be tests.
I mean, originally, these kind of tours for South Africa were got up by, Lord Hawke's tour to South Africa. It wasn't an England tour to South Africa. And the idea was that you went out there, picked up some nice presents, diamonds, that kind of thing, spot of good dinners, met people. There's a kind of socialisation, being very kind of sociable and enjoying those kind of benefits. But in terms of the cricket, I mean, South African cricket was only just developing at that stage. I mean, it gradually grew stronger over the next decade. So there was a kind of imperial vision, part of the MCC was like going out to these places and taking a team. And there were the amateurs who did the batting and the pros who did the bowling. And so, I mean, that team that went to South Africa in 1899 was fairly strong. I mean, you could pass muster as a test team, but at the time it was Lord Hawke's 11 against the South Africans. So it was only later, I can't remember the exact date, when they were given status, some of these matches, as tests and kind of went on people's record. So when he was selected for it, it wasn't a question of, oh no, now he's playing for England. It was, he's going on a tour to South Africa with Lord Hawke.
Well, I mean, let's just put into perspective a second. Again, if I'm right, he got 4 for 61, 5 for 49, 4 for 69, and 4 for 19 in a couple of tests at the Old Wanderers and Newlands. Okay, it wasn't the strongest South African team in the world, but you're also talking about a man, therefore, who's taken 3 was 12, 17 England wickets at next to not very many runs at all.
Yes, yeah.
It's not a bad record. So he can drink a bit. He womanises a bit. He did have a wife and children over here. His way of making money through being a professional with Middlesex was sort of rather unceremoniously ended and paid off with the rather threatening line that you mentioned earlier, which was, providing he doesn't ever sort of come back again. Tell us then, because after that, although he did some umpiring, he was not a well man, was he? A combination of alcohol and dropsy. I mean, there's one horrible line you have that describes him being drained of about 1.5 gallons of fluid. So, and ultimately, it does come to a very sad end. Just tell us a little bit about the latter years and how that all came about for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was awarded a benefit in 1907, and it was traditional for the benefit to be, I think, round about the bank holiday Monday at Lord's. It was against Somerset, so he was granted that game as a benefit. MCC were kind of quite strict about collection of monies at benefits. You could collect on the gate, but you couldn't go around the ground to collect. So it was quite, other grounds were kind of different. I mean, the Yorkshire benefits were kind of very well organised. W.G. Grace, the amateur who made so much money from the game, his benefit was superbly organised. He made, I think it was around about 10,000 off it. But Trott struggled in terms of the amount of money he made from that. It was his benefit game. He hadn't had a great season. He wasn't in good condition. And then, of course, in the second innings against Somerset, he takes a double hat-trick. So it's the first occasion that anyone had taken a double hat-trick in a first-class match. And so the game ended early. I mean, the kind of response by professionals in these situations was always, I've bowled myself into the poorhouse. But the fact was, he hadn't lost a considerable amount of money through, winning the game. It was just those kind of low attendance, temperatures weren't that good, lowish crowd, and it ended up with Middlesex making up his money to 300 for it, which wasn't a vast amount.
So do you think Middlesex did all right by him in the end?
In the end, so, I mean, they paid for things like doctor's bills early on, but once he'd had all of his benefit money, and he kept on coming back. I suspect what he'd done is remortgaged his house, and he needed the money to pay for that. So he kept on coming back, and all of his benefit had pretty much gone, I think, by 1910, which was the idea was to kind of set him up for a while. So he kind of lost that. He was in ill health. I mean, he was kind of involved in all kinds of strange money-making schemes. I mean, people talk about the 100. I mean, Trott played 4-a-side against Surrey at the Coliseum, on stage. The game, he kind of took up Vigoro, the new cross between lawn tennis and cricket, to find a new market.
Was he naive? Was there a certain naivety about him, or was he just magnificently enthusiastic for kind of any new idea?
Just like new ideas, just doing things, just kind of throw himself in. But he was, short of money all the way through. I mean, the ball with which he was presented with the ball, which kind of went over the pavilion. 3 weeks later, it was on sale in the sports shop. In the Strand.
You're on.
Oh, welcome back. The Rajasthan Royals need 162 runs if they are to, I think, in most people's minds, keep their chances of qualifying for the later stages of this tournament alive. That said, they won't be completely out of the picture in points terms, but it's going to get much more difficult for them. So 162 is what they need, and what an attractive, potentially opening pair we have coming to the wicket. It's Joss Butler's been out there for 7 matches already, but joining him for the second time at
Prior
position is Ben Stokes.
Prior ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone Sutler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. 1 S and 2 T's, Joss Butler.
I got up Ben Stokes, and he called me a if I'd only seen that Ben Stokes was so mean. And he called me up, said he'd punch my said I made him. The arm looked up and said, "You angry redhead, you'll get fined again."
Of course.
Oh, what a matchup this is. Well, the bowler is going to be this man.
What's his name?
He's a high roller, rock and roller, scariest, deadliest, killingest bowler. He can sink your oats like the Spanish Armada.
No one faster, no one harder.
What's his name?
Surabaya.
What's his name? Tell me, what's his name?
Surabaya.
KG.
Surabaya.
It's
Well, first ball is on the legs of Ben Stokes, and Ben Stokes whips this away through square leg. There's no one down there. Lovely shot, will give him confidence because he's been a bit rusty, and he's got 4 to start with.
I've already played the jingle.
Played the 4 jingle before I actually commentated the.
Well, I thought, I was being cool, yeah, and all the jingles ran into each other.
Rabada bowls again. That's a very good ball, just on the line of off and middle of good length, brings Stokes forward in defence, and there is no run. You've got to worry about the Rajasthan batting. They've got some top class players at their disposal, but very few of them, if any, have been producing. Certainly since the first 2 games, and that was when Sanju Samson and Steve Smith got 50s. Since then, it's been slim pickings. In comes Rabada again, bowls, defended again by Stokes, this time straight to extra cover, and there is no run. Just to let you know that I am Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson. I'm on ball by ball, summarising in between, I guess, mouthfuls of crisps will be the bear.
Yeah,
and,
I'm done now.
On your tweets, you have none other than Sean Tracy, Nestle Boy. Hi, Nestlers.
All right.
All right. Where are you today?
Still got the beard. I'm
Still
in
got the beard.
Amity Island.
Amity Island, okay. Slip is in, driven by Stokes. He wants a single, could be trouble here! Oh, he would have been run out from mid-off if that had struck. There was just a sudden little bit of hesitation from Stokes as he started off confidently for the run and then thought he may have misjudged it. And he's got away with it. He's got to the other end. He's got himself a single. But that could have been a disastrous start for Rajasthan.
I'm betting on the Delhi Capitals.
Me too. Just because they've found ways of winning and they've got a fantastic bowling lineup. Take Norkia and Rabada out of the picture, and you've still got the likes of Axar Patel. Axar Patel is a really underrated cricketer, still only 26. He's going at only 5.05 runs per over this tournament. Also picked up 6 wickets. That's a lovely cover drive, though, from Jos Buttler off his first ball. They're getting a couple of gifts from Rabada early on in the innings, and he's put that away sumptuously.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, notwithstanding the run-out attempt, 2 lovely shots played by these 2 English batsmen who've been entrusted with getting the run chase off at a gallop, really, for their team.
England is really well represented here, isn't it, the IPL this year?
Sorry?
Well, English players are really well represented at the IPL.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Tom Banton finally get a go, didn't we, for the Knight Riders the other day. I think that was his first game, didn't really make much of it, but then it's obviously difficult. And he comes again to Buttler. Buttler turns this off middle stump into the mid-wicket region. Stoinis comes around to field from square leg. They run through for 1. A very, very healthy start for Rajasthan. They've made 10 from the first over. Nestlers.
Yeah, Karen's done well as well, hasn't he?
Karen has done well. I mean,
his brother hasn't.
Nice. Sorry?
His brother hasn't done so well.
Well, no. I mean, for a man who's got all these variations, he's got a very, bad economy rate. It may be because he's put in on these pressure situations, but that's kind of lost in the place in this side initially, the Rajasthan side, and now, of course, Stokes has come. Is a more, well, obviously a superior all-rounder. And if you're going to take up one of the overseas roles, he's obviously going to get it, isn't he? When it comes to those 2. Anyway, it's going to be the new man making his debut today. Was given his Delhi Capitals cap a little bit earlier, if that's what they get. It's going to be Tushar Deshpande to open the bowling. He's just running in now to Buttler. He's got 1 slip. Oh, he's almost got a return catch first ball because Buttler was trying to turn that onto the onside. He got a leading edge. Luckily for him, it went looping over the top of the bowler as he followed through, and Buttler escapes to the other end, moves to 6, and Rajasthan to 11 for no wicket. So scares for both these opening batsmen in the first 7 balls of the reply, but maybe this is the day. This is the day they need a little bit of luck. Things come off for them, and they can chase down this Delhi total. Tushar again into the left-handed Stokes. Bowls, and he crunches that through the offside, finds the gap. That's going to go all the way to the extra cover boundary. Lovely stroke from Stokes. 15 for no wicket.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, we don't actually have a jingle for Tushar.
No, that's one that's missing. I'm sure we have somewhere because Mog and Perko and the various people who do our jingles for us are normally ahead of the game as far as we're concerned.
Well, normally they are, but I think this is one we found them short of.
Right. I'm not sure whether he was brought in at a late date, maybe.
Sack him.
In he comes, bowls, onto the back foot goes Stokes, defends into the ground, and back up towards the bowler, and there is no run. 15 for no wicket. Stokes has 9, Butler has 6. You'd have expected perhaps Anurag Nortje to open the bowling, but it's been entrusted with the debutant. So that's a vote of confidence from his equally young captain, Shreyas Iyer, saying, you take the new ball. He's hoping to get a little bit of movement, perhaps. We're expecting this pitch to slow down. Here he comes again into Stokes. Stokes is advancing down the wicket and then plays a lovely shot with a straight bat, angling the face of the bat that takes it away through extra cover for another boundary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Stokes, well, he looked a little bit rusty with the ball, but he's looking pretty handy with the bat. He goes on to 13 from 7 deliveries, and he's played 3 glorious shots already.
We do not have a jingle for him. I've searched high and low.
Oh well, that's something to put out to the Twitter sphere, or to mention in our next email to Mog. We need a Trusha Deshpande jingle. He's in again. Stokes drives, but this time straighter up to mid-off. Perhaps didn't time that as well as he intended. Picks up the 1. He goes to 14, and Rajasthan, with 1 ball remaining in the second over, have moved to 20 without loss.
Well ahead of where DC were.
Yep, very much so. It's been a good start. We'll come to any tweets or social media interaction at the end of this over. 1 ball to go. And so far 10 runs have come from Tushar Deshpande's opening over in IPL cricket. He's got a man coming up inside the circle at third man. He's got a backward point, cover just in front, extra mid-off, and panning back we've got a mid-on. We've got a man on the 45 who's now been pushed back to long leg, and the deep square leg has come up to an orthodox mid-wicket. That is the field that Jos Buttler faces, and he faces Tashwandi, and he'll take a single. He'll have to hurry, so it's run up to mid-on, fielded by Nortje, and they've taken the single. 21 for no wicket. Ness, any tweets?
Yeah, Dandy Castro on YouTube. I love when death bowling is good, because generally T20 bores me. Such a hit parade. Yeah, I know people love it. 30ish runs off the final 5 overs of an IPL match is simply spectacular bowling. Some matches get 30 runs off one of those 5 overs. Seriously, the gang feels 161 is favourite to defend, even with the great death bowl. You guys still like DC? Raja can't bat?
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'll say to Dan, I keep betting on the team batting second to chase down the runs, and they fucking, well, from what I've watched, they rarely do. You know, the pressure gets on them, and a couple of early wickets, and even it might have been Delhi last week. We saw collapse from like 95 for 2 to 140 all out, and couldn't chase 160.
Nortje is into the attack, and he's dismissed by Jos Buttler, who just puts his foot down the wicket, leans over the ball, then smashes it for a giant 6 over long on. I wonder if Jos Buttler's settled down, just having Ben Stokes at the other end from him. They've had some good partnerships in the past at international level. He's been forced to open with 2 or 3 different people already this year. The young man, was it Jaiswal, who opened the batting for a couple of games, only 18, and struggling to find his way at this level, coming straight really from India under-19s. But I think he's just settled down, having Ben Stokes at the other end, and that was a very confident shot. Nortje in again. He's dispensed with a slip. He's into Buttler, and Buttler tries to whip that off his pad. I don't think he got bat on that. It rolls slowly towards mid-wicket. In fact, he may have got a little bit on that, because it's been given to the batsman. He goes to 13. Ben Stokes has 14. Question being asked at the moment is, which overseas quick has impressed you most this season, Archer, Rabada or Nortje? in a sense, and I think for the price of what he's cost his team, I think you'd have to say Henrik Nortje, wouldn't you? He's got 6 wickets, got a pretty good economy rate, and I don't think he's ever played before in the IPL. Here he is again into the left-handed Stokes, who makes room for himself and slices that. He was looking to play that a lot straighter, I think. It's Ashwin down at third man, and they will pick up just the 1. Stokes moves to 15, Butler has 14.
That's a good shot by Butler previously, wasn't it? I think you could be right about them. This is my point. I mean, familiar people batting with familiar people. I don't think it necessarily needs to be from the same country. I think just familiarity of languages can sometimes help just ease down the pressure a little bit. You can actually communicate with someone properly.
Nortje, he's gone right across his stumps and he's lifted that with a beautiful ramp shot. Butler, no problems, that timed it beautifully. He's got away down a long leg over the man on the 45 for 4 runs.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Not hanging around here, are they?
No, this is a really outstanding start. I mean, you've got to get that shot absolutely right. It's dead straight on middle stump, right up in the crease. And if you get that slightly wrong, you're done for, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
You're just asking for your stumps to be knocked over. But
and you look really silly.
Oh, and you look really silly, of course. But played with great subtlety, that by Butler. He now goes past Stokes. He's on to 18. 33 for no wicket. He's in again, he's gone across again, but he could be in trouble this time now. I thought for a moment he was just going to scoop a little catch to the man on the 45, but he's got it fine of him and picked up another 4. That's just beautiful control. Beautiful control.
That was inside edge, actually.
Well, it was. But I almost think it might have been deliberate the way he played it. It looked so good. I mean, I thought he just played it straight to the man on the 45, but he got it well fine of him because it was in the air and at a catchable height for some time. Anyway, takes the score on to 37 for no wicket. And Nortje has gone for 16 from his first 5 balls. He's in again, bowls. He's bowled it! It's all over! And that's a great riposte from the South African. Butler had started so well. He's gone for 22 from 9 deliveries. And Rajasthan are 37 for 1 after 3.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. Your history, nah.
That's definitely when you give the batsman a send-off. You've just been
Well, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, he's played 3 great shots off him in that over. But then it wasn't even that he was trying his luck so much. That was much more regulation, wasn't it? He was trying to play that one straight, but found the gap between bat and pad. And off troops Butler, I'm afraid to say. Steve Smith, man on the way into the crease. Got a jingle that goes like this.
Inevitable. You know Steve Smith's inevitable. He treats the fielders like they're not really there. He hits the ball in the air across the boundary line. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, Deshpande is relieved of duties after 1 over, and they turn the Delhi Capitals to the far more experienced, probably one of the most experienced IPL cricketers of all time, in Ravi Ashwin. We'll jingle him up. He's in, bowls, and he clips that away through mid-wicket. No great power in the shot, but it'll bring him a single to beat mid-wicket. And the score moves to 38 for 1. Just looking at this again, I mean, it was just a straight ball. He didn't get intimidated, really, did he, Nortje? What you got to say is he didn't stop trying to bowl that ball right up in the crease and bowl it straight and bowl it well, and he did, and he deserved the wicket.
Took the piss too many times.
Indeed.
Not bad, 22 of 9. It's a good start.
Yeah, good 22, very entertaining, but unfortunately this is the trouble for Butler, is he just hasn't been able to go on this year. Just 150 now from 7 innings. That one against Mumbai Indians in the 4th game. He's just equalled his second highest score of 22. And you need that from someone that promises so much, Butler. You need a bit more than that, don't you?
Fidget.
Indeed. He goes back to this one, turns it into the onside. They're going to race through for one. I don't know quite why Smith decided to run that so quickly, because there was a man on the single, really, or possibly saving the single, trying to save the single, so there wouldn't have been any chance of getting a second. So Smith is off the mark, 39 for one. Ashwin stays round the wicket, bowls to Stokes, turns him round a little bit, looks as if he was trying to scoop that into the onside. It comes off a leading edge down towards long off.
Why has Ravi got 999 as his number?
That's exactly what I was about to ask.
I don't know, it's very helpful in the UAE. Onto the back foot, turned to square leg where Patel fields, and there is no run. Might have some uses in this country, but certainly not in the UAE, I would have thought. He's in again. Smith goes back. It's horrible inside edge as he was making room there. Ball runs down to the man on the 45. This is much better over for Delhi Capitals. Just 3 runs from the first 5 balls. And Smith himself is struggling a little bit with the back. He's offered up the most easy return catch. He was trying to tickle that into the onside. And again, he has got the leading edge, and it's looped up perfectly for Ravi Ashwin. And Rajasthan, after that extraordinary start, now find themselves 40 for 2 after 4.
He's had a shocker the last few games, hasn't he, Smith?
Well, he's now with that, he's now made double figures only once in the last 6 innings.
And he's the skipper.
And you can't drop your captain, can you? Well, you could, I suppose. But it's not a move that teams would be wanting to make. But he's just really struggling. I mean, he's getting this out of his system before the Ashes next year, obviously, isn't he?
Well, yeah, it's the UAE. I don't know what his success rate's like in the UAE, but they played Pakistan there and got hammered, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they have had problems, it's true. Any more tweets?
Yeah, loads. Ravi Nair says he's supporting RR in this because Delhi, yuck, but it'll be a bloody good job if they win. 162 with their fragile batting is difficult. Fuck it, hit and hope. Jay Grover, Hendo's Karadzic beard sent me down a rabbit hole of Serbian history. Good lord, that wasn't fun. I blame Nigel for the death of Tito and the fracturing of Yugoslavia.
Yeah,
he also says it looks like my arm's been eaten by Bruce. Mint. Theoretically, I don't want to see me decapitated. And he asked, please do not play the Nokia jingle because my phone is ringing and a few people who have my number only bring me bad news. The Bears kind are a seasonal nuisance at the Longshore estate. Bloody Southerners coming over here stealing our mushrooms.
Absolutely.
Used to go to Edale.
Yeah, he's had a few of those in his time. Sanju Samson. Now he's another dilemma in effect for Rajasthan. A highly talented player, but he just can't score runs at the moment after those first 2 50s. 74 against the Chennai and 85 against the Kings 11. He went four games without getting into double figures. Picked up 26 against the Sunrisers, but he's got it all to do. They really do need a 50 or something from him now. Norkia into Stokes at the start of the 5th over. It's nicely, pleasantly defended up to mid-off, but will bring no run. Just looking at the repeat of this dismissal of Steve Smith. A horrible, horrible dismissal. That's the thing about Steve Smith. When he does get out,
he looks ugly.
He does look very ugly indeed. But anyway, it's brought Delhi Capitals back to life. They can go top on their own terms tonight. Nothing to do with net run rate. They'll go to 12 points. They win this one. In comes Norkia again. Bowls to Stokes. Stokes makes a little bit of room. Tries to drive it through the offside. Man at cover point. I think his Shikhar Dhawan was rather playing with him there as the ball seemed he switched the ball from hand to hand. And, suddenly it's become very much tougher for Rajasthan. I'd like to see Rajasthan win this. It keeps them in the tournament. And when you've got players with the potential of Stokes and Butler, and you've seen what Archer can do in this tournament, you'd love to see them playing in the big games towards the end of the event. Stokes has 17 from 13. Still got Rahul Tewatia to come, a man who's really won a couple of games on his own. Another leading edge, signs perhaps that this pitch is getting slower. Stokes was trying to work that into the onside, but they'll take the single up to mid-off and move on to 18, 41 for 2, halfway through the 5th over. And Nortje is back at the end of his run, just thinking what he might do next. 156k has been his highest.
Bloody hell.
So that is pretty darn quick.
That's 95, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's, I think I'd have to say of the three that were being put up on the screen before as impressing us, I think you've got to say that he's done as much as anyone, although the figures don't entirely show that. He's in again, bowls to Sampson. They're going to take a single. There was a little bit of hesitation while Sampson looked to see if Stokes was coming, and he was. And so he's off the mark, 42 for 2. Nortje has pulled it back. He'd gone for, I think, 15? Was it 16? For his first 5 balls, then taking that wicket has given him a new lease of life. And he's just gone for 2 more runs in 4 balls since then. And Stokes to face up to the South African again. He's got a ring of 4 on the offside, 3 on the on. Inside the circle, he's in, bowls to Stokes. Stokes can do nothing more than defend that firmly up to mid-on. And there is no run. That was 152 Ks, and we reckoned that Archer had got up to 152 earlier today. But whether that Nortje figure of 156 was actually from today's bowling or just throughout the tournament, I'm not sure. But
when you look at it, it looks like Archer troubles more batsmen, doesn't he? Even though Nortje seems a little bit quicker.
I think it's just gives that little bit extra bit of height, gets the ball to do a little bit more off a length, doesn't he? Nortje is quite full. He's in here, driven straight by Stokes, driven well, and dive is put in at mid-off. The man seems to have hurt himself, gone down on his shoulder. He can't chase after it, so they should get a couple of runs here, making up for that. In fact, I think they've only taken the 1. I'm not sure who it is who's gone down. To be fair, maybe if you roll him over and I can see the bottom of his shirt.
It's India Cements again.
Yeah, the man known as India Cements.
No, it's Exi Cash here.
It is. I'm not sure who it is.
Shreyas Iyer.
It is the captain. Well, he put himself on the line for the team there, but couldn't prevent the single anyway. That's what Stokes contented himself with. 43 for 2, 1 over to go in the power play.
No, I thought he landed on the ball and done his rib cage there for a minute. I wonder if did he land on the ball with his roll on it with his shoulder, or did he just go down?
He may well have done actually. Yeah, that's what I thought initially. Let's have another look at it. We're going to see it in all its gory close up. You know, you're right. It's his rib, but he seems to have then sort of, I don't know, jerked his shoulder as he was sliding along the ground. Is he going off? He's going off to get some treatment, I think.
So it's obviously painful enough, because it was painful enough for him to not to be able to get up and chase the ball down.
Indeed, yes. Well, he's now crouching by the boundary edge, and his physio is suggesting that he comes off completely. Ricky Ponting is there as well. We think that Ravi Ashwin will be taking over the helmsman and the helmsman's role, as while Iyer goes to get his shoulder looked at. 43 for 2. Yes, he's come down. He's initially come down, sort of landed on his rib on the ball. Somehow the ball has then run away from him, but it's his shoulder that he seems to be complaining about. His left shoulder.
Maybe he just jabbed his hand when he went across the, because those are pegged in, aren't they? So maybe he got his hand caught as he was skating across the advertising.
Well, the advertising,
and that just jarred it back a bit.
They're painted on, aren't they?
No, sometimes they're just hammered into the ground with big bloody things.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty dangerous. Rabada is going to bowl the 6th over, so he's switched ends. And first over went for 10. He's going to be bowling to Ben Stokes again. Ben Stokes has 19, and here comes the South African. And Stokes stands up, tries to deliver, but mistimes it horribly into the ground, and the ball rolls quite gently towards extra cover. A little bit of pressure now growing on Stokes, who's 19 off 17. This is the final over of the power play.
Leia is wondering why Steve Smith has an IPL contract. She says he's shit.
A couple of years ago, he was really good though, and he is a quality batsman. Well,
Rabada in again, pulled by Stokes through mid-wicket. There's bound to be someone out there. There is. I'm not sure he's going to get round to it. He isn't. That's going to go all the way for 4 runs. I'm not sure who that was out there running round. Looked to me more like Rohit Sharma. What's he doing there? Anyway, it's gone for 4, and Stokes moves to 23.
1, 2, 3, 4.
typical Stokes shot, wasn't it? Rolled his wrist, got it in front of square, hit it with decent power.
Yep, the man got the hand to it, but couldn't do anything else as he was sliding along. Rabada into Stokes again. Stokes off the back foot, forces and out to towards the boundary edge. Rather wild throw comes back, which is taken in mid-pitch by Rabada. Stokes moves on to 24. Rajasthan to 48 for 2. They need 114 more to win. And we're halfway through the final over of the power play. Sampson coming down to face Rabada for the first time. I think they really do need these two to get them, I guess, near to 100 or more before another wicket goes down. There doesn't seem to be a lot of confidence. Of course, we do have those 2 men down the order, Parag and Tawatia, who put together that wonderful stand on Sunday. But it's a lot to expect them to do it again, especially Tawatia to do it again. Here is Rabada into the right-hander, goes onto the back foot, just dabs it down to third man. Nicely played. There's the man with 999 on his back. Always good in an emergency. Ravi Ashwin, and score moves on to 49 for 2.
They've somewhat settled it down a bit, haven't they? Even though Sampson's only been out of a couple of balls, Stokes has taken most of them.
Yep, but they don't want to get bogged down. If we think this pitch is going to get slower, they've got spinners that they can bowl. They've got Ashwin, of course. They've got 1 or 2 others. Axar Patel has been bowling really well. Short, pulled again. Didn't really get hold of Adam. It rather slowly runs to Marcus Stoinis at mid-wicket. No chance for a single. 49 for 2. 1 ball remaining.
And of course, Rabada and Stokes and Nortje and Butler might be facing off against each other not too long in the future. Are we going to South Africa, do you think?
Well, I mean, there's been no confirmation yet. It seems to me that there've been some talks about that. Who knows whether that will happen? And what's going on in this country at the moment. Onto the back foot goes Stokes, forced up to mid-off. Nortje does the fielding. They take an easy single. That is the end of the power play. Rajasthan have advanced to 50 for 2. Tweets.
Big Rover says, what the fuck, I don't normally look at PMs, but I just finished a book, Contested Will by James Shapiro, jolly good, and someone sent me a message saying Nestlers wants to meet me. Mate, the only time I've been in Essex, I was looking at churches. Oh, you know money, you chiselling fuck, and now I'm double bolting my day door. What's a day door?
Day door, what's the day
door? I don't know. A door you only lock during the day. Jay also says, if you pick mushrooms at Edale, you pick them at Longshore. Piss off back to Manchester and leave the drugs to us proper northerners, says 16-year-old me in 1995.
Well, I was up there at university, wasn't I?
Yeah.
So we used to go to Edale.
Can you remember any of it though, Bear? Can you remember?
I don't remember a lot of it. It's got to be said.
He doesn't like you nicking his mushrooms.
There was plenty up there. That and the Dovestone Reservoir. This is just out past. I can't remember where it was out past. Altrincham, I think.
Altrincham.
And he basically there used to be a field with a tree that looked like a mushroom. And you walk around there, and you knew it was there. You just walk into that field. It's great.
Well, Delhi are turning to another of their spin options. It's going to be Axar Patel.
Turning to mushrooms.
Coming in to bowl to Stokes. Stokes turns that away through mid-wicket, sets off at a pace, wants to come back for a second, won't be able to. But he moves to 26 from 22, 51 for 2. I was talking about Axar Patel a little bit earlier and how economical he's been in this tournament so far. Overall, in the years that he's been playing, 7 years I think from the age of 19, he's only going at about 7.7, but in this particular edition he's going at 5.05. He's round the wicket now to Sampson, and Sampson goes back and rather tepidly defends that into the offside. Patel moves round to his left to field, and they get no run. I guess Sampson's won't be feeling terribly confident, but he's down the wicket, and when he does play that straight drive in the air, he normally leaves it hanging up there for a long time. It's gone way back into the stands, way back into the second tier, and he's picked up a glorious 6. And Axel Patel normally does fire it in quite flat. He gave that one a bit more air, but beautiful use of the feet by Sampson. The next ball is offered up outside off stump. He goes back to this one, cuts it through the covers. It's fielded by Stoinis coming in off the boundary, and they take one more. Good start to the over from Sampson. That takes a little bit of pressure off, doesn't it, when you get such a good start. Went way back. If you'd been sitting 2 rows from the back of the upper stand, you might have caught that in better circumstances. This will be a single for Stokes as he turns it into the mid-wicket region. He moves on
Had
to
smell on it, that one.
And we did. It was a glorious shot. He has played a few of those shots at Sharjah, but hasn't risked it too often in Dubai. But that would have gone out of pretty much any ground in the country, really. Axer in again, and Sampson was trying to fool him by moving around his crease. Eventually he moved back, the ball kept coming onto him, and he aimed the cut but only chopped it into the ground, and there is no run. It's going to be a sit. Strategic timeout, time for lots of adverts and lots of money to be made by people who are already far too rich. In the meantime, we'll ask for some tweets, and then it should be the Bear, I think, or is it Andy?
It's Andy. I'm off.
You're off. Andy should be arriving any moment now.
Well, there's no tweets at the moment, but I will just call out some people on Crick Tracker India.
Let's do that.
Shoket Bat says DC.
DC.
Srikanth Irani says Smith out. Yes. Magnatram Ram says DC, and he also says I'm DC.
There you go. Andy, where's your money on this in this one?
Close one. It is a close one. I think I'd be leaning towards Delhi, but no better than 60-40.
Do you think, I mean, how important is it that Stokes stays there? Is Stokes the key to this run chase?
It's just not the way I like to frame these things. No, they've obviously got other batsmen. Don't underestimate Utapa, who's down to come in next, and Sampson. Look, it depends how he bats. If Stokes scores 30 off the next 30, then that's not going to help him being in. It's not going to help anybody. He probably won't. But no, I don't think any one batsman is key, and I don't think any one batsman should play as if he is key. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you talk about Robin Utapa. I mean, he's got a fantastic IPL record of nearly 4,500 runs, but he's really struggled when he's played in this edition. I think he scored 51 in 5 innings. That's well, it doesn't shout confidence to you, does it?
To batting at the top of the order, and it is quite a different challenge coming in after the power play when the slower bowlers are on and the field is back. So he has struggled with that a little bit. I think that's why I lean towards Delhi. We've also got Axar, as I say, is a very economical bowler. Ashwin, obviously, very super experienced. But they're by no means out of it, and of course we've seen this IPL, an over or two can change everything either way.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, 2 or 3 wickets can go down in a couple of overs, or as you say, you can get an over of 15 or 20, and it just gives whichever team takes that opportunity that impetus, doesn't it? And sometimes just takes away the energy from the other side, I feel. But yeah, absolutely right. We've got plenty of interesting things to happen before the end of this one, we would think.
Jay has explained his day door.
Oh, go on.
He said he's explained it previously. Because I often work during the night, I have 2 bells, one of which I disconnect during sleep.
Right. Is that because it's a particularly annoying, obnoxious ring, or is it just
kids
it's not
playing lockdown ginger?
Oh, okay. Ashwin is going to bowl his second over, bowl the 3rd over of the innings, but he's going to come on now for the 8th. And I don't know why I'm commentating, because it's
no,
Andy.
I don't.
Sorry about that. It's all yours.
It will be Ashwin. Can he mankad Stokes and make English Twitter explode.
Yes.
Possibly make Stokes explode.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really need that, do we? I wouldn't have thought.
Oh, I love.
You'd like that, would you?
I would love it.
It'd be funny.
Yes, possibly. Not a lot of difference, is there, on that? In that, well, it's not from power play so much, but 7 overs, 59 for 2, Rajasthan, just ahead of Delhi's 52 for 2.
Just ahead, yes, and they were a little bit slow in the last 5 overs as well, Delhi, so they'll be happy about that, Rajasthan, as Stokes plays that one back to the bowler for no run. And Ashwin's going to come in again, try and get through this over quickly. Round the wicket, Stokes steps across, scoops it over backward square leg, should be in the gap, and it is for 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There are some supporters with narier masks to be seen.
And rubbish clapping.
Yeah, I've noticed over the last few days of watching this, that almost every day there seem to be more fans in the stadium.
Well, people just blag their way in. Stokes
I think they
clips
do.
That one through them vacant with wicket area, picks up a single, and now he's on the non-striker's end, so the man cad is on.
I guess if you can find a taxi to get you to the ground, which is outside the city, isn't it? You possibly find that there isn't a huge amount of security.
You could probably go and sit up in the stands. You're socially distanced, aren't you?
Well, you are, but it's
why do
it's
some
them
people
rules, isn't
get
it?
to do it and not everybody?
Well,
they're the owner's friends.
Yeah.
This is the thing. They are really. That was outside leg stump. It's clipped down to do a short, sharpish run. Samson does get through for the single though. Probably a wide if he'd left it.
Well, he applauds Stokes for backing up well, but actually I'm not sure Stokes is really very happy with that, as he could have been in difficulty. As you say, the man in that position is much closer than we thought.
Well, they're certainly committed to it. Stokes steps across again, clips into the leg again, goes out towards deep square. It's rolling. Will they get 2? Nope.
Excuse me.
Back. 7 off the over so far. It's 66 for 2.
Yeah, I think these two have just got to try and get through to about 100, 110 at least.
I just don't think people think like that these days, Hendo. It's not in 2020, or if there's an inside edge from Samson and it trickles down to finally pick up a single. Just bat, just play the next ball, play the next over. When you start thinking, I have to get to X, it's only going to inhibit you.
But are you playing that ball on merit, or are you trying to innovate something? Are you trying to take the impetus away from the bowler? What is it you're thinking?
9 times out of 10, play it on merit. And if you're in a particular situation where the run rate is getting away from you, or you want to target a specific bowler because you think he's the weaker option, then you might do something different. It's going to be Axar again. And he's going to bowl his left arm around the wicket to Samson. Shorter, Samson pulls. Has he found the gap? Nope. Straight out to Rabada and be an easy single. And it's 68 for 2 in the 9th over. Stokes 33 off 27. Well, we saw Iyer catch up a little bit in the end with a couple of sixes, and Stokes is almost at the point where he needs to do that. Axar's over the wicket to Stokes, goes the reverse, it's up in the air. Fielder's after, it's not going to get there, and it's a 1 bounce 4.
2 plus 2 is on man. 2 plus 2 is on man.
More of a
I
reverse
thought he slightly top edged that. I don't know if what you felt.
No, he's angled the bat and kind of lifted it up, I think.
Hell of a shot.
Yeah, the good wrists there from Stokes, and he obviously feels he needs to move it along a little bit. That one is pushed into the offside without the sweeper. I'm sure that'll be 1. 89 off 69 now, which is not too testing.
Stokes, of course, is in his 3rd season now with Rajasthan, but he's never scored a 50 for them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Paid a lot of money for him that first season, definitely. Samson plays that one up to long on. Just be a single.
Well, we forget, his first season was for the Rising Poon Supergiant.
That's right, yes.
And he got 100 for
the best name ever.
The Rising Poon Supergiants.
And he had a really good season for them, but since then it's been a bit of a struggle, certainly with the bat.
pushed through the offside. That's the sweeper again. Be another single. Well, he's on 38, so this is a good chance. 39 now.
Yeah, so what have we got from this over? 5, 6, 7, 8 from the over so far. Which is about right, isn't it? That's about the rate they're looking at.
Yeah, so we can do this last ball. Dragged down, pulled away by Sampson. It's up. Is it long enough? I think it is. Yes, it is. Onto the black tarpaulin it goes. And that's good over, turned into a great over with 6. So Axel, not his usual economical self, goes for a couple of boundaries there.
I've got more on Jay's door.
It's a never-ending saga.
It's 2 bells for the same door. I just dislike being woken up because my sleep is rare and precious.
I agree.
24-hour gibberish I send you during Ash's tests.
We call him Jay 2 Bells Grover.
Yes, indeed. Oh, we're getting a new ball by the looks
the
of
ball.
Yep.
So they're going to pick out a new one. Gives us a bit more time to wibble.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is it. Stokes, he has gone. He has gone for big money, and he had a brilliant first season with Rising Pune, and the last 2 seasons, I think he's averaged something like 16 and 18 for Rajasthan. He's not really been worth the check, to put it bluntly. And this season, of course, they've lost him for the first 6 games, was it?
Yep, Ashwin is in 2. Stokes hoiks it away into the leg side. It's 1 bounce out to Rabada, and that should be a single.
But if you're looking at buying players from around the world, he's going to be top of your list, isn't he?
No, not for T20. Oh, yeah. No. Just look at his numbers. Not that great. He's an average T20 bowler.
Yeah, but as a batsman, and also he's a superstar.
It's his weakest form of the game. I'm absolutely convinced of that. Tipped into the leg side by Sampson, and he'll pick up a single. No, I think his reputation.
Got to think of the marketing.
Well, is Stokes a big draw for marketing in India?
Around the world, yeah.
I think he is now. I think he definitely is. I mean, after the achievements of the last couple of years, I think he
was a bit of a pivot, though. You were talking about the batting bowler, and you went to marketing.
Well, the whole thing.
And there'd be no run.
I mean, I still think he, as a batsman, I'd have him in any side.
No, I wouldn't have him in the England T20 side. Ashwin comes in, shorter, hoiks it away again. 1 bounce to Rabada, and is just a single.
Well, he's never got a 50 in T20 internationals, but then again, he's probably batting about 5 or 6.
Well, he's been up and down. He's played a few games up the top.
Yeah, hasn't actually opened, I don't think, has he?
I honestly don't know. He has certainly been up and down the order.
And as you say, his average and economy rate in T20 internationals is not that impressive. 8.82 for the economy rate.
It's not bad at all. So you've got a guy batting 6 and not standing out as a bowler.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that he's by far his weakest form of the game. Yeah.
Clipped out to mid-wicket by Sampson. Pick up a single. 85 to 2. Is that the end of the over? No, there's 1 to go.
Again, another good over from Ashwin. He's only allowed them singles from 4 balls of this, 4 of the 5 balls of this over.
He certainly knows what he's doing in this form of the game, Ashwin. Coming up to the halfway point of the innings. And the Royals more than halfway in terms of runs, so they should be happy about that. Stokes steps across, but ends up cutting the cover. There's no run. It is indeed a good over. 3 overs, 1 for 15 from Ashwin. And Rajasthan needs 77 off the last 10 overs.
Just look. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say that there's no more about Jay's door, so we're all quiet on Twitter.
Oh, right. We've closed that, have we? We've closed that. Yeah, he's only averaging 17.9 with the bat in T20 internationals. He's only played 26 matches. The average is 17. The strike rate 134. A strike rate 134 is reasonably good. It's not outstanding.
No, not at all.
But,
he's trending on Twitter at the moment.
Oh,
is he?
Go.
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, in a way, you answer your own question about marketing. The very fact that he's,
Yeah, but it's trending on our Twitter doesn't mean trending on Twitter, Jay.
No. He's trending on Twitter in the United Kingdom.
Oh, exactly. And
that's
again,
what he means.
Probably if you follow a lot of cricket accounts, that gets tweaked to you.
And so far, none of the tweets are about him that I've seen.
Right. comes Tushar, the debutant, so it's fair for me to say I haven't seen much of him. That was dropped down to third man by Sampson, pick up a single.
One of the tweets is a classic 70s Stoke versus West Brom game.
Well, there you go.
Well, you can change your Twitter, can't you? You can change it so that you can see what's trending in places like Mumbai. And
you can see the overall trends, but you know a great deal of it is tweaked to you more than you realise.
Yeah.
The tricks they have, eh?
The tricks they have indeed. Stokes, 41 of 34, trending not. Tushar comes in over the wicket. Stokes down the track, lifts it in the air, could be in trouble here.
Yeah.
He's out. Yep. Dhawan with a fairly straightforward. No, sorry, that's not sure who that is, but it's a fairly comfortable catch. And Stokes goes 41 off 35. He's still not going to get that 50, and that might tilt the game Delhi's way.
On your bike, mate.
He's done him with the pace of the ball, hasn't he?
Yep.
Clever bowling. You know, he's come back after a quite expensive first over in the tournament, and then he's risked putting in one of those slower, shorter ones to Stokes. He's got a tremendous batsman out. They'll be really happy with him now. It was Lanet. That's why you couldn't.
It's a sub. I'm allowed to not know who the sub is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Stokes goes up the steps, bashing his bat as he goes, and well, it remains to be seen. Remains to be seen how important a wicket that was. Anyway, it's Utapa coming to the wicket.
Runs a low, confident shot. We can't wait another minute for all Utapa.
Still favourites, the Royals.
Okay.
Tushar picks up his first IPL wicket. He'll be delighted with that. A bit of bounce in his step as he comes into Sampson. Plays it down to third man, pick up a single. Nortje with the fielding.
I've just seen Warren Street. You need to read that out, Nestus.
Okay.
Well, I gave you your window.
Oh, sorry.
I was waiting.
When I go on the tweets, I can't see what you're doing. I can't see the cricket. So.
Okay. Well, there's a little bit of delay while we move the field.
Okay. Warren wonders, is hashtag Stokes butt implant trending?
That was down to some chat in the first innings, I believe. Was it not?
There's a particular shot of him showing showing his butt, really. Although his trousers were still on, don't worry. That's all OPG. Bouncer there, is that going to be a wide? Batsman rather ducks under it. Yes, it is. Too high. That's another run.
Leah can confirm that Stokes isn't trending on Twitter in Germany. Nina Hagen is trending in Germany because she's been a weirdo that has come out as a COVID idiot.
I don't know who Nina Hagen is.
Oh, it's not so good if she's coming out as a COVID idiot. It's
punk rocker type from the sort of late 70s, early 80s.
Yes.
Oh, not Nina of 99 Red Balloons?
No.
Oh, okay.
Tushar's in again. Full ball. Nice drive from Utapa. Oh, he's halfway down. There's a chance of a run out. He's going to get back and it's in fact hit him. There's a bit of a lame appeal for obstructing the field, but Utapa totally had his back to the ball. Couldn't see what was happening. What did happen was the bowler got a hand to it. It ran out to mid-on. Utapa thought it was a run and came 2/3 of the way down the wicket before he was sent back. Umpires are going to have a look.
They're going to be asked about that, aren't they? Yeah.
Surely, well, the soft signal's not out, and Utapa couldn't even see the ball, and I'm sure he was running in a straight line to make his ground up.
Be controversial if this is ruled out.
Well, I can't see it. In fact, are they even going to go upstairs? Or
yeah, they have done.
Yeah,
they have done. Just
to
give another
have another look then. Here comes the throw. He's totally got his back to the ball. He's running in a straight line. Get on with the game.
Get on with the game. I've got information on Ravi's 999, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's long, so I'll do it after this over.
Okay.
Still having yet another look at this.
Pete's
Did come a
sake.
long way down the track.
How much have Paytm paid?
Quite a bit, I imagine.
Evidently a fair amount.
We're going to see it again!
From 15 different angles. Samson was rather ball watching there, didn't watch his partner, didn't he?
Yeah, he sort of held his hand up, didn't he? But he didn't really look round at his partner at all to sort of suggest to him that he should go back. He rather sold him a little bit. Surely this is going to be not out, but still waiting.
Eventually, it's
Yay!
not out. And in the end, it's a dot ball. So excellent over from Tushar so far. Shorter, and Utapa guides it down to third round for a single. And it's 89 for 3.
73 off 55. You'd say that was very much in the doable category, wouldn't you?
Definitely, yeah.
What? We're going to see it again. They're obsessed with it.
Get over it.
It's like
Well, I mean, the thing is, you're always taught
gifts that never stop.
You're always taught to run on the angle between the fielder and the wickets. Just not make it obvious.
Not yes, you're always taught to cheat, but it's not obvious.
Cheat.
Yes. And then
Absolutely.
act affronted when anybody calls you out on it. It's the English way.
What do you mean, sir? What could you mean?
Sampson's back on strike. Full ball driven out towards cover, and they'll pick up a conventional run. This time, great over from Tukar, just 4 runs, and Rajasthan on 90 for 3 in their chase of 162 to win.
Right, so Farong tells us Ashwin and 999.
Oh, hang
Misra
on.
had.
Hang on,
hang on, it's a no ball.
Oh,
so
for God's sake.
Tushar has not completed an excellent over. Or
Hold that
still
tweet.
might. Yeah,
I'm holding it.
Sure, that was 4. I guess it was another overstep called from the sidelines. Yeah, he's a little bit over.
Just yet. Free
So
hit.
that'll be a free hit for Robin Utapa, which might allow him to get his innings underway.
That's great, actually, isn't it? If you to come, that's exactly what you want. A free hit for your 3rd or 4th ball.
Be nice, yeah. Down the track, but only gets a bottom edge, but it has beaten fine leg and will go down for 4. So 72 off 9 overs became 67 off 9. That unfortunate no ball, and that inch overstep has rather cost them.
Right, so Ashwin and 999. Misra had jersey 99. However, after Misra was ruled out, Ashwin couldn't use 99 as Misra had it. 9 was already taken. Ashwin wears 99 for India, so he added an extra 9. He was signed after Misra. Bloody confusing. 9 is a lucky number in India.
I guess that's what it is.
There you
like
go.
Well, if 9's a lucky number, you might as well have 3 of them.
It's like when Alan Shearer signed for Newcastle and very, very maturely insisted it go in his contract that he wear the number 9 shirt, which was in the possession of the excellent Les Ferdinand. And there was some talk as Axar comes in, tipped into the leg side to pick up a single, and they nearly did something very similar. Ferdinand was thinking about wearing 99 exactly the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, settled for 10 in the end.
Oh, no.
Didn't Michael Vaughan wear 99 when he was still playing in ODI cricket? Got a feeling he did.
Naina from 99 Red Balloons has also joined the Covidiots, apparently, according to Leia.
Oh no. Oh dear, oh dear.
Racking them up.
How disappointing.
With her hairy armpits.
Yeah, standard German from the 80s.
So she was in 2nd place trending in Germany, so that means that there were 2 Ninas trending at the top at the very same time.
Well, there. Anyway, played down for point, and there's no run.
I think they're spelt differently, aren't they?
They are. It would appear so, yes. Yeah.
66 off 52 required. It's a fuller ball. It's defended by Utapa. It's a quick run. They've got away with it. Cover was close, but not close enough. In fact, possibly Cover was a bit surprised by that one. He didn't really swoop on the ball. If he had, he could have given them a problem.
I was going to say, you know, if Rajasthan can pull this off, then they've started a little run, haven't they? They had those 4 defeats in a row. This would be their second win in succession. Just needs that bit of impetus and that bit, the confidence that gives you to go on winning to a certain extent.
Well done for not saying the M word. Bowled him. Sampson backs away. Axar's a bit too wily for that, so that was the arm ball, I suspect. Crashed into middle stump. Sampson is out, and Hendo's jinxed it again, talking about the win.
After you've gone.
Indeed. A few runs for Sampson, and a good strike rate, 25 off 18. But now we're going to have to see if Parag and Tewatia can do it again.
Well, I remember watching Axar Patel in this tournament already this year, bowling really well to Kohli and really well to Rohit Sharma. If you can restrict those two, you've got to be a pretty good bowler, haven't you?
Yeah.
And he's proved it again today. He's taken an important wicket. I saw someone talking. Was it Jay talking earlier about he didn't believe in the commentator's curse? But when we've not been covering these games, and I've been watching them on TV while supposedly working, I have noticed that Mark Nicholas in particular suffers greatly from it. He's done it about 3 or 4 times already when I've been watching. So I think it is a real and true thing. I think it exists.
It's all the times it doesn't happen. I know it's just being a bit frivolous, but if you say something about. Mark Nicholas is a very positive commentator who says a lot of good things about players, so which is good. So, but sooner or later people are going to get out just after he says it.
Yeah, and of course wickets tumble generally a lot more quickly in this form of the game.
So Parag, no cap, he steps up and punches into the offside. Nice shot to pick up a single to long off.
Going to hear about Jay's holiday, Shaking Stevens and Fraggle Rock after this over.
Oh my goodness me! How? Well, let's forget about the cricket.
I can barely wait. Yeah. Luckily, we've only got 1 ball to go in this over.
Oh, we're down to Ryan Parag, who batted very well on Sunday, didn't he? And that unbroken stand.
In for Utapa, tossed up. I mean, it did get half an outside edge on that, but it beats the bowler up to long off. Another single. Good over though. 4 runs and a wicket. 99-4.
So, when he was a wee fella, he used to go on holiday to Cornwall at Bedruth and Steps, near where Fraggle Rock was filmed. Looks classy now, but not so much in the 80s. I had one of my periodic obsessions, this time with Shaking Stevens.
Well,
much fun we had. All was good until many years later when my mum bought me Behind the Green Door on VHS as a gag present. She thought it was a Shaking Stevens documentary. There were some guilty looks amongst the men who realised that family gift unwrapping. You know what Behind the Green Door is?
I haven't a clue, no.
It's something naughty, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's a famous 70s American porn film.
I didn't know that. That's just
not
proves
starring Shaking Stevens.
No, we would like to point out that he had nothing to do with that film.
But that's what the song was about. What was behind the green door? And he couldn't, he wanted to get in. You can see why. Obviously not an original song, but even so.
Yeah, who sang that originally?
Oh, some old bloke.
Jockey Wilson or someone.
Jockey Wilson, possibly. Nortjes back in, cut. Great piece of fielding at backward point, Rahane. And we'll just pick up a single.
Well, that'll bring the 100 up, won't it? That'll bring the 100 up. So they now need 63, 62, is it? Or 46?
Actually, I haven't cheated or anything, but I think Green Door was originally done by a female singer.
Really?
I think so.
Look that up.
It was first recorded by Jim Lowe.
Jim Lowe?
Reached number 1.
I thought it was Jockey Wilson.
Jockey Wilson says. That one's cut. It does beat the fielder. And it's going to beat the deep man as well. That extra pace from Nortje just helped the ball race away. And that's 4 to Utapa.
You're thinking of Crystal Gale, Hendo.
No, I'm not thinking of Crystal Gale. I'm really not.
She did record it.
Well, I know Crystal Gale was it. Don't it make your brown eyes blue?
My parents loved Crystal Gale. I'm quite familiar with her work.
Well, apparently,
Vaughan.
Green Door was also recorded by Frankie Vaughan.
Yeah, and the Cramps.
There you go.
Nortje into the leg side. Mid wicket is very, very close. They won't take long that time. And we've got someone there. Oh, it's Ryan Harris looking absolutely petrified by the camera.
He's filled. I mean, he was never slight, was he? But he looks like he's getting square.
Why not? Your career's over. You make up for all that lost, those missing parts.
All those sacrifices you have to make.
Yeah, you can see why. Yeah. Nortje is very much different build of a man. Runs in. It's a top edge. Where is that going? It's going for 6 over Ashwin's head. The extra pace.
Oh, I say, chap, you're getting left.
So top edged hook flew over fine though for 6.
Good over so far for
much so,
Rajasthan.
Yeah. Nortje not bowling with the control that Archer and Tyagi did in the Rajasthan bowling innings. So he's rather up against it. Comes in again, clipped up towards long on, and they'll take an easy single.
Well, the Tapper's looking reasonably good. A man who has had a very difficult series so far is batting very positively at the moment.
Yep, helped along, as I say, by the pace of the ball. And they've got this equation down to 52 off 43. 4 wickets down though, so if they can nick out 1 or 2 of them, it might be interesting. Nortje instead trying to blast them out as he completes this over. And that's a solid defensive by Parag, and there's no run. We saw that table earlier in the match that Nortje had bowled the most balls over 140 Ks in the tournament. You can see why, because he doesn't really have a lot of subtlety, so he's bowling most of them around that pace.
Yeah, he's not someone who's got a lot of variations, and well, actually, if you are very fast, you only really probably need one variation, and that means to be a much slower one, as long as you don't overuse it.
Well, sometimes there's something to be said for taking sort of 8 or 10 Ks off it, so it's not an obvious loopy slower ball, it's just a bit slower, and you get a bit earlier in the shot.
Yep.
Jay says all he's got trending is Monster Munch and offers Dyke, which is basically a DIY half man, half biscuit song.
Sounds like it. Aksar's back again, punched out towards point by Utapa, and there's no run.
Knackles joined us. He's saying that RR's batting lineup is so unbalanced. Butler is best used in the middle order because there's so many batters.
Disagree.
Who slow down outside the power play. But precisely because so many batters like that, Butler has to open.
I'm not sure I picked up the meaning of that exactly. There's a bit of a confusion. He's lined it up. It was really good from Aksar because he knew he had time to line that up and not just hurl it back at the stumps. The 2 batsmen both ran, shook hands in the middle of the wicket, turned round, and in the end, I think Parag was run out at the non-striker.
There must be a run out here. Oh, how tragic. How tragic, how tragic, how tragic.
Yep, they both ran, they both stopped, and as I say, great piece of work by Aksar. You see so many players just hurl the ball at the stumps as quick as they can. He knew he had time to line it up.
Yeah, that was poor from a tapper, I have to say. I mean, he really starts those first few strides, doesn't he? And he looks for all the world as if he's coming. He's completely sold Parag there, and it's an important, could be an important wicket.
It should have been Utapa's call.
It should have been his call, but he obviously didn't call very well, did he? He started to come. I don't know what point he said no and decided he's not going to come. But it's no help to Parag at all. What was Knackles saying? He was saying that Butler shouldn't be opening.
No, he has to open.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought he was saying he shouldn't be opening.
No, he
does.
Initially said he shouldn't be opening, but he has to. Isn't that what he said?
He's best used in the middle order, but because there are so many batters who slow down outside the power play.
I think that's a difficult one to say. I mean, if you look at Butler's record in the IPL, he came good when he was pushed up to open.
Anyway, Tuachia is in at 7, and they've still got Archer to come in, so he's not quite the last hope. He pushes that one out towards point. A bit of a misfield. Are they going to pick up a run for that? I don't think so. I think that's Shaw, who who's had a few misfields in the last couple of games, but he gets away with that one. and Axar, 2 dots and a wicket. Bear wants to do a jingle. Bowler is stopped, so he can do it.
City, please run to run.
Defends out towards cover, and there's no run. Can Axar take a wicket maiden at this point? Be remarkable. He's only got 2 balls to go. Here he comes, left arm round. Gone for the sweep to us, gone for the reverse. He's got it over the infield, and he breaks the shackles for 4.
Commentator's curse.
Otapa, excuse me. So yeah, Otapa obviously felt he had to do something with that. He was homing into middle and off, but he got enough of it, enough of that reverse sweep over the 2 short men on the offside.
Yeah, it's a very good shot in the end. I mean, it's a difficult one to play.
Well, he knew he didn't have to smash that one. The field was up. That's tipped into the leg side and more decisive running that time. We'll pick up a single. Still a good over from Axar. 5 runs and a wicket. Rajasthan need 47 off 6 overs.
Barong says, thanks for depressing me. Next 2 days I have to play the mute button for commentary on TV coverage. Nicholas and Slater I can barely handle, but KP and the Kiwis, for fuck's sake. Cheers. Apple tells us on number 9s, when Inter Milan signed Roberto Baggio, he took number 10, and so Ronaldo, the original Brazilian edition, changed to 9. This was also the preferred number of the Chilean striker Ivan Zamorano, who got round it by wearing a shirt with 1+8 on it.
I'm surprised they're allowed to do that. Maybe it was
Brilliant.
a tiny little plus in the middle, like those personalised number plates.
Back in the
Are we
day, maybe.
rotating as the Bear company?
It must be time. It must be nearly time for the Bear.
It is.
It is time for the Bear.
Time.
It is, and I'm off to cook my dinner.
Nice. Have fun.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Nestlers.
See you next week.
See you
next
soon.
time.
I'd said up until 2 overs ago, Rajasthan were going to win this, and now I flip round and say DC are going to win it.
Yeah, I wonder whether that run out just sort of betrays a certain anxiety in the team about whether they really believe they can win some of these games.
Or it was just a mix-up.
Or it's just a mix-up.
Well, it was clearly a
journalist
mix-up.
trying to create a narrative.
Well, I mean, that's what we do the whole time.
such
Isn't it?
a
Well, it
cynic.
is. That's your job.
It's our job,
we
yeah, shut
are
up.
a narrative program, basically. But yeah, I just something about the look on the face of Parag. I mean, obviously disappointment in getting out, but it just had a sort of sense of resignation about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, much.
looks like. Go on, Bear.
I was going to say, much like Rashid Khan yesterday. Whilst you know he can hit a run, he's a good time, not a long time kind of guy, and you don't want him to have to go too far to get the game across the line, really.
Well, we've still got Jofra Archer, of course, to come, and we've seen him hitting 6s for fun in this tournament so far. So I think it's he's got a strike rate of 220, 88 runs from 40 balls in the tournament. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But that's what I mean. You don't want him to have to go too far.
No, and in fact, I mean, you don't want him to be having to do that to win it.
Yes, exactly.
Really. I mean, if he comes in and just hits a couple of 6s because he's playing with a little bit of abandon, that's fine. They really want to put extra pressure. Yeah,
Which is always a lot
anyway.
easier in the first innings, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, we're having a bit of a break at the moment, are we not? Because of
Is it a timeout?
Timeout.
Yep.
Timeouts. Yeah, timeouts.
Strategic bloody
timeout. Yeah.
Well, I've been reading the newspaper, you'll be pleased to know, whilst I was off air.
Well, you're on Twitter, Hendo, so you tell us.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, I'm on Twitter, am I?
Yeah, I'm doing ball by ball,
I thought it
mate.
was you again.
It's round to me. You wrote a bloody...
what have you been reading about them?
Well, Dominic Cummings.
What?
Dominic Cummings. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that place he stayed at in Durham.
Yeah. He's not been paying back tax on it, has he? Council tax.
Yes.
And he's getting away with not having to pay any back tax to 2002.
And not only that, it's an illegal conversion, the fuckers. It was supposed to be one dwelling and it's been split into 3. They're not doing anything about that. They say it's almost too long.
Do you remember when actually there were consequences for things like this?
Yeah, well, there are for me and you, Andy. There are for me and you.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, yes.
But not for fucking Cummins.
No.
What is going on in England, in particular, at the moment is just unfathomable. I think we're on the verge of
Not just thinking how that SNP MP hasn't resigned.
Oh, that's
Grazing
terrible.
it out.
First ball, is down the leg side as it's a filthy ball to a tapper. He's 23 or 17, and it's Tusha, isn't it, bowling?
It is indeed. Tusha Deshpande. And we've got a break to have a look at the car, of course. As you know, we have to have this around this time of every game.
They really slow up the last bloody 5-6 overs, don't they?
They do seem to.
See, I don't think that was the actual strategic break, or was it?
I think it was.
Okay, a tapper in is bowled out, by Tusha. He drives it out to deep cover. He'll get himself a single. Now, what do they need?
We'll come back to that, but the politics of the situation. But Armchair Cricket Podcast said about that run out, to paraphrase Sidhu, Uthappa threw both ends of the rope to a drowning Parag there. And he says he'll want to make up, show his experience and shepherd this chase to the finish. Well, absolutely. He'll feel he's got to, really.
Well, 45 or 35 should be very doable. It's wickets. It's the issue, isn't it?
It is very doable. It's, unless you get to a stage when you panic, or if you're just not used to winning.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, Delhi are 13 to 8. If you fancy a bet.
I've already got. I got them at 11 to 10 right at the beginning of the inning.
What have you got? What have got Rajasthan at the moment?
The opposite of that, more or less.
Okay.
1 to 2.
Okay.
2 to win 1.
Yeah. Well, they could quite easily screw it up. Seen it happen plenty of times. Tawatia is going to face up his first ball. Oh, he's hit that in the air and he's going to be out. Oh no! Nautya, you muppet!
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Naughty, very naughty.
Indeed. That was terrible. He's gone to try and slap that over the top of long leg. He's really got a top edge, and I think Nautya misjudged it. I think he thought it was coming to him easier than that, and he had to dive down right at the end and just plopped it through his hand.
Also, would have been a wide if he left it.
Yeah,
scooped it.
I thought he was going to leave it. Oh, that's terrible.
He's kind of slapped his hands together, hasn't he? It's just gone straight through them. That's awful.
Oh, that's terrible.
I don't often see that from a South African.
No. Next ball is just played out by Tapper. That could be the thing that gets him across the line. That's an awful drop. It's driven out to deep cover, and they'll come back for 2. I mean, that is a question that really is of catches within matches. I mean, 120 for 6, exactly. The pressure mounts, doesn't it?
Good.
Nice response from Knackle. Says, I slightly overcomplicated my Butler point, but the gist is that Rajasthan have so many holes in their batting lineup that they need 2 of him.
I certainly agree with that. Yes, that would be good to have one Butler at the top and one Butler in the middle. Would be.
I think a lot of teams would like that.
Yeah.
Tusha is up to the crease, bowls. Ooh, just defended airily back past mid-on, down to the man on the boundary there. He'll get himself another single.
A little bit of wobble there, I thought, into the right-hander.
6 off the over
Still,
so far.
No boundaries off this over yet.
What do they need an over?
Done quite
about
well,
8.
Tusha on his debut.
He has.
Stokes
I've been
out.
quite impressed with him. Yeah. Got rid of Ben Stokes, and he's he's getting the ball to wobble a little bit. He runs in fast, doesn't he? And obviously gives it his all as well.
To add his high score is 53. Yeah. 45 not out against the Sunrisers. Gets on top of that and swats it into the ground. Out to deep square leg. Pretty ugly shot. But he'll get himself a single.
I mean, talking of cocking things up, from a really good position, didn't Kings 11, was that last Saturday, in the doubleheader on the Saturday, where they were, they had another good opening stand, I think, between Agarwal and, forgot his name, Rahul. And yet they didn't finish it off.
Do you remember that?
And they've got they've got those 2 batsmen who are leading the way with runs in this tournament, but they're bottom of the league.
Tusha, last ball of the over, heaved by a tapper, not particularly well timed, out to deep mid wicket, cow, and it'll be a single. Not IPL, but you remember when England, what did we do? Lose 9 wickets for 7 or something, or 7 for 5 or something in a game against New Zealand? And the last time
also, I mean, there was a terrible. Was it a T20 against India back in that tour in, was it 2000 and? Yeah, would that have been 14-15? And I think it was it when Kuldeep came
oh God, yes.
An ODI.
I think it might have been an ODI.
It might have been an ODI, or it was a T20. I can't remember. These games are so memorable. These
do well to Okay, who won the third Test in 2018? Go.
No idea.
Oh, Test cricket is so memorable.
No, exactly. But if you say third Test between who though?
Or who was playing? You should at least remember who was
The third Test of that year.
Of the summer in England.
Oh, in England. 2018.
Don't know.
Point take. Point.
Yeah, I know. Driven out square on the offside.
No, I don't think that's actually true,
run.
Andy. It's just that I particularly don't remember things. That might just be me being useless. You might ask the average cricket fan
fucking
who won
point
the
of
third
wearing
Test.
your mask below your nose like that.
Well, it's because it's quite uncomfortable. If you're not sitting near anyone, you might as well, mightn't you?
And he's outside. And take it off, exactly.
Well, then you might forget to put it back on again when you go and talk to people.
Well, then stop being a numpty.
It's not being a numpty. It's not being a numpty. I mean, I understand what you're saying, that people are walking past each other.
Okay. Yeah.
Ashwin is in, and he's around the wickets to Watia, who just plays it out to cover. There's no run.
I'll tell you one thing, Delhi are gambling on having some of their ring fielders very close, and I think more often than not it's paying off.
A good idea, yeah, definitely.
Dot balls.
Mm-hmm.
Ashwin stops.
Is he? Oh, he's
striker. What was
warned.
he thinking, Mankad?
That must have been the warning again.
Yeah,
Maybe he wasn't actually out of his crease, so he couldn't do anything about it.
That's just defended
Same
into
result.
the offside, and yeah, there is a man up close, and there's no run. I always say this: it's worth having a man up close.
Well, you're supposed to have in the early stages, but you're allowed to have two men up close, aren't you? And you might as well have them. You might as well always have one.
Well, I think you should always have one.
No,
Yeah.
that time it's the batsman. Ashwin's trying to get through the over quickly, and that time the batsman stepped away.
I think the umpire's warning him a little bit there, saying, once you're ready and he's running, you've got to stay there. Around the wicket, Ashwin is just blocked out square, and again straight to the man. It's another dot ball, one off the over so far, 3 dots. That's not what they need.
At rates ticking up, 38 off 26.
Yeah.
Tiwachi is a bit stuck against Ashwin. I think you're going to see a big shot here.
No, yeah, 6 or bust.
Yeah, or attempted anyway. Big shot coming, boys.
Yep. And he doesn't. He just dots it out on the offside. It's a good ball though. I held it back a bit. Ashwin there proper gave it a bit of air.
Tiwachi wanted the single from the tap.
He did. He
just had one run out.
He just dragged the length back a bit as well, so he couldn't get down to it.
Really good bowling.
Yeah, it is. A lot of experience, of course, in Ashwin. That one, I think he flicked out the front of the hand. It's flatter, straight at the stumps. Just defended square on the offside, and only a single. Only 2 off that over. 1 for 17 off his 4 overs. That's good bowling from Ravi Ashwin.
Well, maybe they're figuring they would just try to score more runs off the seamers, but whether you can really see a bowler out in that situation, I'm not so sure. They need 37 off 4 now.
Yeah, who've they seen off though? They've seen off Ashwin. They've seen off Ashwin and Axar Patel, so 2 spinners. So that might be what their plan was when there was pace off the
2
ball.
from Rabada, 1 from Tushar, and 1 from Nortje, unless they bowl anyone else.
Well,
just having a look. I can't, unless Stoinis might bowl.
They might.
Yes,
option.
Stoinis could very well bowl. Yeah,
he always.
Although
Stoinis
it's
always
hard to
looks
bring someone in at this stage, isn't it?
Exactly, and Stoinis always looks a bit military medium to me, and looks like he should be put out of the park. Maybe he can get away with them a bit earlier in innings, but at the end when they're a bit desperate, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he pulls people out. But anyway, it's not going to be one of them. It's going to be this man.
What's his name? He's a high roller, rock and roller, scariest, deadliest, killingest bowler. He can sink your oats like the Spanish Armada.
His first ball is short of a length, and at the body of Tawatu, who can only play it down to short third man for a single.
Hey, what's his name? KG.
Tiwachi is.
Well, Marcus Stoinis
another one of his
has got an economy.
He's got 3.
Well, yeah, they will be hoping so, won't they? Marcus Stoinis' economy rate this season 9.89.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's not very good, is it?
Not really.
He's got quite a good cutter, but he's probably been found out a bit.
Well, he's taken wickets. He's taken 6 wickets, but I mean, and that can in itself be useful, can't it?
It can indeed. A slower ball into the pitch, and I think Itapa was through a shot really early because it hit his back shoulder. It was only 127 k's, so yeah, much slower. He was through a shot, bounced off his shoulder out into the offside. He thought about a single, but it wasn't there. Another good ball.
I
Was
don't
that
know.
a knuckle?
With every-
No, it wasn't.
With every ball that's bowled, that's come off the end of the bat, actually.
Yeah,
Toe
sorry,
of the back,
sorry, I thought it
that's
came
why
off the shoulder.
Rabada dived for it. Yeah.
That would have been some shoulder to go that far. Come off his shoulder.
To be fair, I thought the same.
Spring-loaded shoulder.
Yeah.
Rabada in bowls. That's picked up, but not picked up particularly well. But there isn't a man out deep count. There's a man up inside the circle there, so he has to chase it back. Has miss-hit over his head. Could have gone anywhere, really, but got away with it and got 2 runs. The Tapper moves on to 31 off 24.
Yeah, once he'd seen that go over the fielder, he would have hoped it would have run for 4. But it's only 2 runs. They need, close on 10 and over now. They've got the wickets in hand, but they need to play 1 or 2 big shots just to release a bit of pressure.
I see a wicket now. It causes problems there.
Yep.
Although Jofra comes in now, it's within range
next.
for Jofra, isn't it? Really, he hits 4 sixes and suddenly the game's over. Another toe end or outside of hip as a Tapper tries to work into the leg side. It's wide of his off stump, went right across. And
They've got pretty much no one else
Another
after Jofra. Gopal, Unadkat, and Tyagi.
yeah, so maybe they're a bit wary of that as well, isn't it? If
You can't
you can't afford to. I agree, you can't afford to be. But there is something about, the batsman always believes, if I just get the right balls, I can hit it for 6 if I don't get out, and then they're wasted 2 or 3 balls. Psychology of the game.
Yeah, Tuatia 4 off 8.
Yeah, not good.
Maybe Rabada's just a bit too quick for him.
Quite possibly. He's facing out. Well, he smacked 28 or something off and over the other week or something.
It was 5 sixes in and over, but
yeah.
it wasn't off Rabada.
He played that well, though.
He did play that well. He's just leant back and ramped it straight over the top of the keeper. Down behind him, really, for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Strikes me as Tuati more than a lot of players. He's one of those guys that when he starts hitting it, he gets into a mood where he just can't stop hitting it. But it takes him a while to get into that mood.
Yeah, it takes one shot to get him over the line, and then he's up.
Depends how long it takes him to get into that mood, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's got a 4 there, so there's 8 off this over so far. 1 ball to go. 29 required off 19. This is the closest game I've seen. I'm getting quite excited. Rabada is in, and I think he cut his fingers across. Then it's swiped at. It's gone out to mid wicket. I don't think they ran, did they?
They didn't.
Should have done.
Yeah, they should have run. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what does they need? They need 29.
29 off 3 overs.
3 overs, yeah. They're
should be doable.
I mean, they're going to kick themselves if they don't win this from the position they were in. I think it's poor.
Well, this is where you've got to. If you swing now, I mean, you think about it. You've got to get 5 sixes or 6 fours in 18 balls. That's a lot of swinging.
Fair bit of swinging.
Lose 2
You
wickets.
get runs off the other balls.
Well, no, theoretically you don't. If you're well, no, the point is you just keep swinging and keep believing you're going to get to the boundary. As long as you don't get out, which is obviously a big downside of this.
Quite a big part of it.
Yes. But a few streaky outside edges, very fine for 4.
Well, this might be the bowler they should target. I think Norchi took a bit of stick in the last over. It's going to fly off the bat. He's not the subtlest. This might be a good opportunity to take that route. Just put a big flash through it and hope for the best.
Where do you put your fielders out then? Do you have a man streaky down at 3rd man? Fine.
You have 2 streaky men, don't you? 2 streaky men for the uppercut and for the top edged hook.
You would think so. You would think so. You maybe only have 5 outs, so
that's true.
They've got a long on and a deep square.
See, that says he's bowling short
as well. He's obviously going to back on the leg side, up on the offside.
Well, no, he's bringing the long leg into the circle.
I think he has to if he wants to cover that area into the leg. So he should be bowling full at the stumps of that field.
Well, let's have a look. It is reasonably full. Bad keeping. They got through for a bye. It shouldn't have done. He went down and tried to lap it around a corner off Nortje, which is interesting. Went right across his stumps, and he was followed by the bowler. Missed it, and then the keeper didn't grab hold of the ball. It did bounce before him, but still, you'd expect the keeper to roll.
Was a slow ball.
Was a slow ball. He just rolled his fingers across it, didn't he? Bounced just in front of the keeper.
I'm missing loads of tweets at the moment. Just to say, Knackle. Well, no, that's not the game I'm thinking of. It was when England were in India, not when India toured England. Although Really? 8 for 8 in 3 overs? I'm sure that was in India. When England toured India, but it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't in England. Anyway,
I remember
I'll come back to the tweets.
There was a T20 when Kuldeep took a bunch of wickets. Maybe not the one you're thinking of, but there was one.
Yes, but I don't think it was in England. I'm pretty sure it was in India. Or maybe I'm thinking of ODI. I'm going to have to look it up now.
Anyway, Nautica's up to the stumps and swished that. Now, he could have got fucking away with that. No, he hasn't. Ooh, that's a really good bit of fielding by Rabada. He nearly got done there by the spin off the wicket. Tried to pick that up on the leg side. Got a big top edge that went straight up vertical.
Too quick for him.
Yeah, it was. Landed. I thought it was going to go all the way to the boundary actually and be a lucky 6, but Rabada's very fine down there, and it pitched and went like a leg break, a googly off the outfield.
Like a double leg break. It's gone a long.
It's gone a massive long way.
Really well.
And Rabada has reacted really well. Stuck out his left paw and managed to grab it. Otherwise, it would have gone past him for 4. Naught gets it in again, and he's bowled him. That's it. That could be the game. A tapper has been uprooted his stumps. It's full straight. He came down the track and it's very fast, and it went under I think it went under his bat, and it's hit all 3 stumps. They've clattered everywhere. Itapa has to go, and you'd probably think the game with it, although Jofra could do the thing.
Jofra's coming in.
It's going to have to be down to Jofra, isn't it? Let me get through some tweets.
I'm playing the jingle.
Going back a little bit.
By the time that I do, you'll be gone.
You're just not hearing them, are you?
No, I'm not hearing them.
There's nothing to
You
do
should
about
be
it.
aware of that. Great over the 5th from the Canny Ashwin. That's going back a couple of overs. Just 2 runs off the 16th. Finished with 4 overs, 1 for 17. Such a tight chase. Should be considered man of the match if Delhi Capitals win. Can anyone explain the fair play award? Ladder says for wrong. I can't. And Jago says men with Ven's jingles make me happy. Amongst other things. I'll come back to some more tweets in a minute. But it's Jofra Archer on the way to the wicket.
It is. It's the big Jofra. And once again, let's play this jingle.
He will break your helmet, break your heart. Hotter than lava, cooler than Bogart. In your face, at your stumps, on your toes, on your mum.
Well, I think there we were both leaning a bit more to Delhi than the bookies were throughout this innings, and I think we've been.
Well, it's like I keep saying, I keep betting for the side. I keep thinking, he's going to chase it down. They're going to chase it down. A lot of the times it goes like this. They get off to an unreasonable start, and then they lose a couple of wickets. It all gets bogged down and goes nowhere.
Well, is it anything? It's like we said at the beginning. Is it anything to do with these pitches getting slower as the tournament progresses?
Well, yeah. Archer has hit that straight down the ground. He hasn't hit it for 6. In fact, he's only going. Whoa! There could be a big mix-up. There isn't. He's got back in time. He went to slap it out of the ground as he does. Big top edge back over the top of the bowler's head. It was fielded out in the deep. Archer. It must have been Tuatu was coming back for the second. Archer wasn't interested. Actually, Archer did start to go back, Jofra, and then sent Tuatu back. But in the end, it was quite easy for him to get back there. Bit panicky though, bit.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think it reveals the way they're thinking at the moment, doesn't it? They need a big, smooth hit for 6 just to take a bit of pressure off.
Absolutely. We think it's
two balls left. 2 balls left this over when they be looking. I think need a boundary.
They definitely need a boundary. 4 or 6 would do it.
22, 23, 24 for the last 2 is going to be a tough call.
Yeah, indeed. A couple of big hits.
Barder will be bowling the next one, definitely.
And he was bowling very good deliveries where he was taking the pace off, which was completely foxing Utapa in the last over that he bowled. And so when you've got someone as quick as Rabada who can then take pace off the ball, it makes it even more tricky for a batsman.
And it's quite significant as well. You can get it down to like 125, which is 15 mile an hour difference.
K's an hour.
Yeah, no, it's about 20 K's. It's about 10, 12 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of
lot of moving around.
Yeah. There's a mid wicket.
Left-handers back on strike.
Shikha Dhawan taken over. I mean, I don't think Iyer came back on again. Has he taken over as captain? I thought it was
guess he
Ashwin.
probably has done. Yes.
Yeah, he must have done. There's a square leg, there's a cover, and Tuacha's moved around in his crease and then settled on trying to swat it down behind square on the leg side. Doesn't get anything on it. It goes through to the keeper.
I'm sure he's had at least a season captaining someone. Dhawan, wasn't he captain of Sunrisers?
I seem to remember him captaining when I've been watching. Maybe that was last year. We did a lot last year, didn't we?
I just got the impression when Iyer went off, Shreyas Iyer went off, that it was Ravi Ashwin who seemed to be directing things, but more recently it seems to have been Shikha Dhawan.
Certainly getting a lot of the camera.
Yeah. I'm sure he's skippering now, definitely.
Yeah, he's pointing to people around the park.
Or as a senior player, he's just pointing out some things to.
Well, that's all you need.
I
think he
that's
actually
captaining. That's captaining, isn't it? Saying what, making the decisions. Nortje is in, bowls full outside off stumps, full toss. In fact, knee high, driven up to mid off. Need to pierce the out of the infield there. He doesn't, and it's only a single. So that's 5, 1, 2, 4 off the over and a wicket.
They were going to look to target, but they've only managed 4 off it. He's also got the wicket, so it was a good over from Nortje. Up against it now, 25 off 2 overs. I mean, a couple of sixes changes everything.
Absolutely.
And they've got 6 hitters out there.
Yeah, the only thing is that Tuacha, I think over the last couple of overs, he's taken singles off the last ball without having done anything much in the over itself. So he's the man who's got to suddenly find the sixes. Can't rely on Jofra Archer.
You look like a Chad. I can only see your nose and eyes.
And then it's very dark back there.
Can't see your fulsome beard. That's much better.
Well, I'll do my best. Let me have a little look. There we go. It's getting a bit dark where I am.
It is.
Yeah. Turn the light on.
You never turn the light on.
It doesn't make much difference in my.
By the end of the night, it's usually he just comes in and out of the gloom.
That's right.
Harry's the worst. Just a pair of eyes like cat's eyes.
Right, so Rabada is going to bowl the 19th. He's up, he bowls full, and Tuani gets some bat on it, but not much, and just goes back past Rabada mid-off. It's up inside the circle, and looks like.
Oh, you're not hitting. You're not hitting that for 6 in a hurry.
No, you're not. No. It's only a single.
Full tosses.
Maybe Archer can get underneath one.
They'll certainly
They'll
try.
their best bat because Tuacha really has looked comfortable. And there's no sign of that 6 hitting barrage that he unleashed a few games ago.
Yeah, certainly. I've seen him a couple of times, and I've seen him hit a couple of sixes, but not much really. Certainly didn't see that over.
Oh, clever
ball. Rabada takes pace off it, rolls his fingers across it. See, 123 kilometres an hour.
Jofra played that shot yesterday.
Yeah.
Through today.
And Jofra was well through his shot, nowhere near the ball. Through to the keeper, no run. 24 required of 10. Well, I got it right today, I think, Andy. I'm going to call it.
I think you've done well today. You've called the under. You've called that it was going to be enough. Barring a couple of big hits, I think it's going to be.
Yeah. Anyway, Jofra is facing up. Rabada bowls a quick one that time.
Try looking at the ball, not square leg.
Well, head up in the air, big swish, no ding.
I know I'm one to talk, but I know it when I see it.
Well, this is what gets in the mind, isn't it? You think you've got to hit every ball for 6, you just swing, and if you're not a bat, and you've only faced 3 balls, a guy's folding at 9 miles an hour, it's not easy to you've got to have a bit of luck on your side, really. Rabada in again. This time, he's out.
He's out. Yeah.
Archer tried to hit that square outside edge, and it's gone to Rahane, I think, who's just on the edge of the 30-yard circle at point, and we have to say goodbye to Jofra. I'm playing a jingle.
All of the dreams that I dreamed
it's a sad one.
were mine are going.
So you heard that one?
Yeah, I heard that one beautifully.
That one, yeah.
That's
it's just really intermittent, isn't it?
Yes.
It's totally intermittent. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. I just think that in a way, I mean, you can look at Jofra's record as a batsman in this tournament. And as I said, he got 88 runs from 40 balls, but has he ever been under that sort of pressure against a really good bowler? I think that's the difference.
That's what I was going to say. It's a very good bowler, a very quick bowler. And I honestly can't remember exactly who he hit the runs off.
Well, no, I was just thinking 2 of the innings that he hit the runs off, they were batting first, weren't they? Setting a score, I think it's a lot easier to come in at this point in the game.
There was at least one where they were chasing and he helped them over the line.
Well, that's right. I mean, if you're batting first, you don't have the pressure of thinking I've got to get us over the line. You just got to try and get as many as you can.
Exactly.
True. Yeah.
Well, the new batsman is going to be this man.
Hey, Shreyas Gopal's in. Hey, Shreyas Gopal's on. Hey, Shreyas Gopal. Bats and balls.
And he hits his first ball out to mid-off. Tried to give himself some room outside the leg stump, club it through the offside. He can only get it out there, and it's a single.
5 balls, 2 runs and a wicket for Rabada.
Yeah.
Not just taken wickets in this tournament.
How much was he worth? Anyone
He certainly wasn't the most expensive because that was Cummins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's really not
done
lived
much
up to his billing, has he?
No.
But it's a huge thing to have over your head in a sort of competition like this, I think.
In your pocket.
Yeah, it's also a good thing to have in your pocket. That's pulled out to deep wide, long on by Tawatia. Oh dear. And it'll be a single.
I think they just settled for one there in the vain hope that Tawatia on strike can do something magic in the last over.
Well, he's going to have to do something like he did against Cottrell, isn't he? For the Kings 11. 22 required off the last over, and they just really never looked as if they believed they could win this, strangely enough. After they
they're
lost.
in a very good position, but I can see that, the run out, as you say, the sort of resignation on the batsman's face after that crazy run out. Stokes was never really scoring quickly enough. And
they just subsided, didn't they, really?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean.
Axar and Ashwin bowled very tightly in the middle, bowled very well. And sometimes just 3 or 4 overs go by quite quickly, and suddenly you look up and you need 10 and over, and then you have a run out, and then somebody else gets out.
And then it all goes horribly wrong.
All gone to shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be too short to bowl the final over by the looks of things.
It is. The man we don't have a jingle for. There aren't many of those. Yeah. 22 required.
Well, bowling the last over on his debut. I'm sure the nerves will be jangling, even though he has got 22 runs to play with.
Yep. Stokes have 18 to play with in the World Cup final. And he scored 24. Yeah. And he scored 24 off those 4 balls. So right. It's Tushar to bowl the last over. He's in, bowls across to Atian. Is he going to get away with that, or is that going to be a wide? No, it's given as a wide. Ooh, 21 required. 3 6s and a 4, 5 4s and a single.
He didn't give a no ball as well, did he? Wide.
And it's not even what. I don't know.
Very tight one, that, isn't it? Very tight one. I mean, I think he's deliberately bowling it out there, trying to get away with it, and hasn't, just about.
Yeah, he's up for the second ball of the over. That's the crease now. Bowls across again, up in the air. I think he's got enough of that. Has he to Atian?
No, nowhere near.
Oh! He didn't just. Well, he would have had if the plane had been the bloody boundaries. I've been arguing, but it'd probably been 6. I think. Who's that down there? It's Rahane. I'm not sure he didn't touch the ground. It'd be interesting. They'll probably go upstairs and have a look.
Because he's probably pulled it back.
I think he did that okay.
Stokes did, and just stepped on the rope before he released the ball. He caught it, knew he was going backwards.
That's all right.
That's well fielded, and saved 4 runs there.
Saved 6 runs, I think.
Might even have been inside. There you go. The ball didn't cross the plane anyway.
No, ball didn't cross the plane. See, you can see that from the shot as well. Yeah. Anyway,
you can guess it from the shot.
You can see that, but that's true. But it's only 2. That's a great bit of fielding by Rahane down there at long on.
To be fair, a yard further and a 6 off that ball would have put the pressure back on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he's only got 1 from that, hasn't he? Only got 1 from that in the end.
Which means that Gopal's on strike.
Oh, that's
the problem, isn't it? But he gets himself a single. It goes down a long on. You really haven't got time
That's
for
poor
singles.
cricket, yes. I mean, he really should have been back for 2 there. He's probably
Yeah.
watching the ball to see if it went for 6.
Yeah.
And there was definitely
Yeah,
enough
okay.
time as well with the man having to save it from going over the boundary and coming back in. They should have been back for 2. That is poor. Which means that they've got to hit a 6.
19 off 4 balls, yes. So we've got to hit
2.
3 6s for a
2
super
6s,
over.
2 4s for a super over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Tawadia. Come on, Raoul.
Well, it'll be interesting if this one goes for 6. Let's have a look. 2 shots in bowls and
Yeah, well bowled.
inside edge onto pad and just dribbles out the leg side square leg, and they don't even go for the single. So
Well, they understand that. I mean, now it's going to have to be 3 6s.
3
get the
6s
super
to
over.
super
and
over.
Tawadia is the only man who's going to hit those.
Yeah.
Yep. You
That's why they didn't take the run.
One more good ball.
I'm disappointed for Rajasthan, I have to say, but they don't seem to have believed in themselves.
Ricky
in this
Ponting's
game.
Help
not
themselves.
happy.
That's certainly a doable chase.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's proved that chasing 160 is not easy. Well, that one's gone straight up in the air. He's tried to lift that over the square leg on the leg side. Someone's pushed someone in the way. I don't know
What happened there?
I don't know. The camera was.
No one managed to catch it. I thought the bowler was going for it. The keeper ambled up towards it.
Can't really. Yes, we can't really tell you what happened. The ball went straight up in the air.
Surely.
It should have been a keeper's catch. You'd have thought.
I would have thought it
wouldn't
was the keeper's catch.
It seemed to go straight up, like literally vertical above the batsman. The bowler is coming for it. And then
and he collides with the non-striker.
Non-striker's in his way. Yeah.
Oh well, that's hold on.
Well, it's not deliberate, is it? They're both looking at the ball and they're both running towards it. I think that's fair
agree,
enough.
Yeah. Still, it was the one single they needed.
Well, Gopal gets himself a 4. Maybe should have him on strike. That's why an outsider stump throws the bat at it, gets a thick outside edge, goes over the infield and works its way down to its third man for a 4. But they don't really have to worry. There's only 2 balls left. And how many required? 15 now?
Just one now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 1 ball left. The game is done. 162, 148 for 7. And the last ball is played out to that same region and is caught by the man going out from the 30-yard circle at backward point. It was that floaty by Gopal. They just lofted up. He was caught it on running back to the boundary. Tushar gets a wicket and ends up with 1 for 37.
No, you got a second wicket. Yeah,
Oh, was that? I thought that was a second.
Yeah, Stokes earlier.
They were a bit slow on the scorecard there. And Delhi Capitals beat Rajasthan Royals by 13 runs. And I got today's right for a change.
Oh, did you? How much did you win for that?
Oh, £5 or something. It's never a big stake. It's just a bit of fun.
Well, I must admit, I want to see Jofra Archer in the later stages of the tournament. I want to see Joss Butler in the later stages of the tournament, and Ben Stokes. And really, Rajasthan just, I don't know, showed no belief that they could win that after they lost their 5th wicket, I would say. And they should have won that. They should have won that. But good bowling.
In a good position. Shine slightly taken off of the day by Gurning, Ricky Ponting.
Well, yeah, that can upset you for weeks on end.
Well, Delhi go top. They've won 6 and lost 2, so they only need 2 more wins. Well, Rajasthan won 3 and lost 5. They're tied with the Sunrisers and CSK, and they're going to have to win at least 4 of their last 6 games and probably 5. It's going to be a tall order.
Well, I would have said, I mean, if they could have got a win here, they've got some momentum. They've got a couple of wins in a row.
Yep.
But again, they haven't taken much in the way of confidence. And maybe it's because when they've won those games, they've won them from positions where they were unlikely to win them, and they'd almost given up hope and just throwing the bat. Really. So I wonder, their actual ability to think a chase through doesn't seem to be there.
Well, I think I was going to say, I think this has kind of turned into a bit like the World Cup did last year, and actually teams have figured, when everyone went into that tournament, everyone was talking about, everyone wants to chase. By the end of the tournament, everyone wanted to bat first. Because
I think that's down to the fact that we said at the outset of the tournament that these pitches, they're going to be used over and over again. They're going to get slower and more lower, I suppose.
Yeah.
As the tournament goes on, and that even I think applies to the situation where teams are batting second in a particular game. That you think it is going to be a little bit quicker for those batsmen that are batting in the first innings of the match. Anyway, let me bring you some tweets and then we'll say our goodbyes. Knuckle does finally yield to me and says, I got me proper nouns in the wrong order. It was indeed. The collapse of 8 for 8 was when England toured India. That was in Bangalore. Kuldeep took a 6 for when India toured England in 2018. That was at Trent Bridge and he got 5 of the top 6. Robin insufficient. They needed a Batman, says Jeff Perkins 10 minutes ago. Knuckle Poundy told us 7 minutes ago that Dewan has captained a bid in domestic state cricket, captained the Sunrisers during the Champions League in 2013, but he's not captained in the IPL. Jay Grover says, I'm not especially good visual artist, but I have the overwhelming urge to graffiti the space above Hendo's head. Wow, after an over from Nokia, even Rabada looks medium pace, says Armchair Cricket Podcast. Delhi, back when they were the Daredevils, re-signed Rabada for 440k, that's 4.2 crore, in the mega auction in 2018. Remarkably, that's less than they paid for him in 2017, so smart business. Armchair Cricket Podcast questioned whether Tawati could produce a miracle for the 3rd time this season. The answer to that was no. Farong says, thanks Gorillas, always a pleasure tuning in. Catch you all on Sunday for Sunrisers v KKR and Mumbai Indians against Kings 11. Jay Grover says, Rajasthan not executing their skill sets or showing enough passion. Thank you all very much. Apart from Hendo, is a solipsistic DOS. Still not as solipsistic as his namesake, namesack. I'm not even sure what that is. You're talking about Michael Henderson. That seems to be about it in terms of tweets, and that's about it from Gorilla on the IPL until Sunday. We will be back for the morning game. That's 11 o'clock, I think, BST, 11 a.m. So join us then. Knuckle will be on the ball with perhaps some surprise guests, and I'm sure Tony Bishop will be involved along with Grubby and 1 or 2 others. So please come back to us on Sunday. Keep enjoying the IPL so that you know what you're talking about when you tweet us, because we don't.
Not a requirement.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there as a possibility. Thanks to everyone for being with us. We'll see you again on Sunday. Good night from us all.
Goodbye.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come. Not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick Guerrilla Cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian. Guerrilla Cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara,